Welcome back to the Kentucky Speedway for the first race in the Xfinity Series chase. Let's go down trackside for pre-race ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please rise and remove your hats as the Boone County Sheriff's Department presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Pastor Larry Campbell from Kentucky Raceway Ministries offers tonight's invocation.
Let's pray. Our Father God, we thank you for this marvelous evening you've given us. Father, we thank you for everyone that's gathered here this evening for this race. Lord, we just pray you might bless us this evening with a safe race. Watch over the drivers and the crew, Father, just be with them. Father, we ask your blessings also upon this country. Lord, we just pray that we might turn to you for healing. And Father, we just ask you might bless America. Father, bless our service personnel, both at home and around the world. Father, be with them. And Lord, we thank you for Jesus. And it's in his name that we pray. Amen.
Here to honor America with the performance of our national anthem, please welcome the Airlifter Brass of the United States Air Force Band of Mid-America. Let's hear it for the Airlifter Brass of the United...
Just a beautiful scene here at the Kentucky Speedway, but it's definitely the calm before the storm. 12 drivers going for the Xfinity Series Championship, and they have never been here before. Yeah, Elliott Sadler was in the first Sprint Cup Series chase, but it didn't have elimination. Suspense, drama, tension await these drivers as they wait to see what comes next as the Xfinity Series gets the chase started for the first time. The chase format, so successful at the Sprint Cup level, it's made its way to the Xfinity Series. Run well or face elimination.
2 years ago, NASCAR turned the Sprint Cup into an elimination format.
It's all I had. I'm worn out. It's all my fault that we didn't advance.
It made winning even more important.
And it made mistakes even more costly.
Huge chase implications.
The excitement ramped up.
And so did the drama.
Newman is going to get in with that move on the last lap.
Matt Kenseth just wrecked Joey Logano.
And some people even lost their mind.
Race is over. No seatbelts on.
You left a hole, man, and he closed it.
I left a hole. You were the no goodness mother I've ever met.
Now it's our turn.
12 drivers.
12 drivers.
12 drivers.
7 races.
7 races.
7 races.
1 champion.
Tonight in Kentucky, our chase begins.
If all that happened in the Sprint Cup Series, imagine what can happen in the Xfinity Series for drivers who are trying to make their name in NASCAR. DJ, we look at the Sprint Cup Series, how they've done it. This is the Xfinity Series now. How do we look at this chase just a little bit differently?
Well, all of these drivers seem mild-mannered too, but those other drivers did. So we may see a lot of the same things. But I think we only have 3 drivers that have won that are in this chase. That leaves 9 that haven't. A number of these drivers think that this tonight is their opportunity to get that first victory of the season, which moves them into the round of 8.
7 races for this chase, and we'll see who can come away with perhaps a chase or a round 2 berth automatically here tonight. Before we get anything started, we've got to get the engine started, so we go trackside again for the command to do that.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command, please welcome tonight's Grand Marshal, the Executive Vice President of Membership Programs and Services for Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce, Diana Green.
Drivers, start your engines.
Fire it up when you're ready. Chance there, fired up.
40 cars, fire them up. 12 of those cars with championship on their mind getting started this evening here in Kentucky. We'll be back.
Eric Jones strong on the outside as they go down the backstretch. Jones is going to pass him on the outside as the 07 spins.
Real good work. Get your mind right. Figure out what lane you want.
The 20 is being penalized for not maintaining a cautious pace.
Saying we did not maintain. We got to go to third.
The car shut off trying to get fuel. He reaches up for some switches.
I wasn't saving fuel. I was doing something else. Unfortunately, I hit the wrong button.
Won us more than you gave away this year, and you're going to win us a lot more. Keep your head up.
That was July for Eric Jones. This is now his chance to start out the chase on the right foot, and he's done it already with pole position tonight. Eric Jones fastest. Daniel Suarez, his teammate, to his outside.
Row 2, Elliott Sadler has top 10 finishes in 23 of the 26 races in 2016, along with those 2 wins. Ty Dillon, runner-up here last year in this race.
Sam Hornish from Ohio was runner-up back in 2012, and Matt Tiff making his return to the Xfinity Series.
Brendan Gaughan in row 4, won here in 2014. Ryan Blaney, a 2-time Kentucky winner, looking to spoil the chase start here tonight.
Chaser Darrell Wallace Jr. Top 10 in all 3 Kentucky starts, hoping for the same thing at least tonight. And Justin Allgaier, top 10 finishes in all 4 standalone races this year.
Yeah, we have row 6, we have Brennan Poole, rookie, in the first chase here. And then Josh Berry, only making his 6th Xfinity start and first at Kentucky.
Justin Marks, the Mid-Ohio winner, and his 2nd Kentucky start. And next to him, Brandon Jones, chaser from Atlanta, Georgia, one of 2 rookies in the chase.
Row 8, Blake Cook, top 15 finish in the last 2 starts of this year. And Ryan Reed, 11th or better in all 4 standalone races in 2016.
J.J. Yaley likes Kentucky Speedway. His best career finish of 2nd was here in 2006. And Dakota Armstrong, her best of 5th, came in Iowa standalone race in July. And then in row number 10, the final chaser, Ryan Sieg from Tucker, Georgia, the 29-year-old, best Kentucky finish, 12th, came in this race in 2015. And to his outside, Jeremy Clements from South Carolina. DJ, why don't you see if you can dial up our pole sitter, Eric Jones.
Eric, Dale Jarrett with NBC. You have a copy?
Yeah, 10-4. I got you.
All right, thanks for talking with us tonight. Eric, just a couple of months ago back here, it looked like you were in a great position to take a victory away. That didn't happen then, but how much sweeter would it be to get this win tonight in the first race of this chase?
Well, I think this one would definitely mean some more in the grand scheme of things, so pretty excited to get rolling. I don't know how the race is going to play out exactly, but I know we got a fast race car, so that's always a good thing when you're here, but definitely a good qualifying effort. GameStop Overwatch Camry's good, so we'll see how it all plays out.
All right, Eric, thanks for talking with us. Have a great night out there.
10-4, thank you.
You were looking at the rest of the starting grid there, and of course we have some great onboard looks for you tonight. Eric Jones will be one of those with a Toyota onboard camera. And of course, he is top seeded in the chase. Ryan Blaney is not involved in the Xfinity chase, but he'll carry the Ford onboard camera here tonight. The DC Solar camera will be riding with Brennan Poole's number 48, and that's the 360 cam. We'll get some great looks from that. And of course, Ryan Reed in the Lilly Diabetes camera tonight. We'll watch the 16 car from inside and out around the Kentucky Speedway. Let's get some more stories from pit road, starting with Alex Hayden.
Dave, just how intense is this chase for the NASCAR Xfinity Series Championship? Well, for Eric Jones, not only a fast race car, the road crew did their job, but what they did is they brought in the pit crew from Martin Truex Jr. Sprint Cup Series team. That's how intense it is. That's how important it is to get off to a great start here. They want ultra-fast pit stops, so they brought in one of the best crews in the business from New Hampshire for tonight's race. Parker.
Chip Ganassi Racing has 2 cars in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series chase for the first time ever. But in the Xfinity Series, they have a rookie, Brennan Poole. And not a lot of people put a lot of stock in a rookie in this chase format. But don't tell Brennan that. He's excited. And why? He thinks it's an advantage to have this chase format. Because as a rookie, he's been able to work with his team, figure out his crew chief, figure out what he likes in the race cars, and be able to build better race cars as they get to this point. And now with a chase, they have a reset. This is their chance to go race for a championship in the Xfinity Series. He rolls off 11 tonight, Dave.
Guys, thanks for those last-minute thoughts. And you can see the chasers tonight will have red spoilers, red visors across the top of the windshield, and red splitters on their cars, signifying that they are part of this chase tonight. Now, their spotters will be able to pick them out from high above the Kentucky Speedway. DJ, always important, but with this crisscross back and forth from New Hampshire to Kentucky, a lot of them don't have the regular person.
Yeah, and that could create some problems. You get used as a driver hearing the same voice, and exactly how that inflection of their voice may help you in certain situations, but many of them not able to make the trip. They're in New Hampshire for the Cup race this weekend. We'll see how that plays out here tonight.
Be monitoring that all evening long. This spotter coverage is brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance, helping drivers worry less on the track and on the road. Here's what tonight's race looks like. 200 laps, DJ. That's a 300-mile distance.
Yeah, it's a long race, actually. Pit road speed there, 45 miles per hour. We talked about how difficult this could be, the added sections there, so we'll see how that plays out. Fuel window, 54 to 60 laps. The good thing is most of them feel like they can go 60 laps. And tonight, with this new right-side tire that they have versus what they ran back here in July, the tires will make it to 60 laps without any problem.
It's a progression from what they had on the right sides before. It should be better for them, but there's no data on it. So crew chiefs and drivers alike and engineers trying to figure out how to handle it all weekend.
Yeah, it's certainly been a challenge for them, but they said that they feel better with this tire. Just a few changes to the car, and these drivers started to adapt them very well.
The Kentucky Speedway pace truck has the lights on top turned off. That means that the first race ever of the Xfinity Series chase is about to begin. The truck will pull down onto pit lane, and we'll leave it to the starter and Eric Jones in that white 20 car to get things going.
Yeah, this is what they've talked about all week, is this first race of the first ever chase in the Xfinity Series. All the nerves that are right there right now, getting ready to go away quickly.
Win and move on, but don't do anything really bad tonight, and you might get through to the next round. Jones and Suarez coming to the restart zone. They are there. Jones hits it. We're green in Kentucky. Jones with a nice little push there from Sadler. He'll take the outright lead.
Yeah, and we'll see that happen all night as to which lane's going to get the best push. That could be pivotal as to who takes the lead on a late restart.
Suarez now to the outside of Sadler, trying to find his way back. He started on the outside, hasn't been able to get down to that low line yet, which may be preferred at this point in the run, DJ.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the preferred line. But everyone knew coming into this race they were going to be chasing Eric Jones in particular, but Daniel Suarez right there with him as a teammate. And if they're smart through this, that's the two cars that when this race winds down close to 200 laps, that's who you're going to try to have to be in front of.
Sadler completely through to second. Now look at Ty Dillon down to the inside. He gets to the inside of Suarez in turn 3.
Yeah, used a little bit of the draft there to get a nice pull up and then try to pull out and take that inside lane away from Daniel Suarez. Still side by side.
And behind them, you're on board with Ryan Blaney. He's inside of Brendan Gaughan.
Outside. 62 is outside. Even with you. Clear behind if you need. You got Sam Hart behind you. Outside. Up top. Even nose ahead to your right. Outside. Tight right. Tight right. Holding you tight. Holding you tight. Holding you tight.
Yeah, that's a difficult position for the driver, especially on the inside right there. We heard everybody talk about the difficulty of turn 3, and see a great move here, or It was about to be by Sam Hornish trying to go 3 wide. You can go below that yellow line here at this track. Got to get back in line or get back onto the racetrack before you get to turn 1.
Hornish wanted that spot. Blaney shut the door, and now Matt Tifft is going to look to the inside in the 18 car.
Yeah, just be there and ready to take advantage of opportunities when you get this close racing. These cars get extremely loose getting down into the corner. See Blaney really loose up on the high side there in this 22 car.
Nice save coming off the corner there, but that's a handful right now.
He doesn't have many laps in this car this weekend. Came in just for qualifying, made a few laps through each round of qualifying, so he's just trying to fill it out right now.
Hornish moving through to take that 9th position outright. Here comes Brennan Poole for 10th on Blaney.
Yeah, Blaney would really like to clear, just as he did there, get back down to the bottom side of this track. You see the car really loose for him right now as it wiggles down into the corner.
Well, this all kind of got started when Blaney threw the block on Sam Hornish, who was trying to come down through on the apron, and it just didn't get any better from there for Ryan. Ryan Reed and Blake Cook battling, chase contenders. Reed gets the position.
Yeah, and Blake Cook struggled a lot yesterday in practice. His crew was up early today working, trying to figure out a setup that might give them a better opportunity to run well and try to salvage a top 10 finish here tonight.
Here's a replay of that Blaney Hornish situation that made a few of you sit up in your seat here. Here comes Hornish with the move. No!
3 wide middle. 3 wide middle. Outside.
Really early in the race to be throwing a block in a position like that. I understand what Ryan Blaney wanted to do. He was still trying to get that help to push on. Felt like that this was the position he was in the preferred spot. And if he could just hang on for a minute, he could get back in front of Brendan Gaughan, but it cost him quite a few spots.
Blaney is 10th. Hornish is 9th. Alex with more on Ryan Blaney.
Yeah, as we saw that replay again, Ryan Blaney radioed to the team and said, you know, I'm not really pleased with the way the 62 of Brendan Gaughan raced me there. Not necessarily what Hornish did, taking it below the yellow line, but more so the way Brendan Gaughan raced him. Now, Blaney simply trying to find a nice spot on the track to ride.
Settling in as out front, Eric Jones is the leader. He's led every lap so far, started from pole. Jones has command here at Kentucky. NASCAR on NBCSN is brought to you by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR. Xfinity, change the way you experience TV with Xfinity X1. And by Ford, we go further so you can. Eric Jones leads at Kentucky. We will tell you that because of some track activity last night and the subsequent cleaning of turns 3 and 4, NASCAR will display the caution at lap 25, then called a competition caution, just to check things out on these race cars, their tires, and look at track conditions as well.
It'll be interesting at that time to see if these teams decide to change all 4 tires. They have 5 sets of tires in the pits today, so it is a little more than they're accustomed to. But NASCAR took everything into account as they gave the teams the number of tires they'd have to work with. But again, this is a long 300-mile race, and cautions could play a factor.
We've said it, by Xfinity standards, it is a long event, and it'll play out that way. They'll need to manage some tires to make sure they've got them at the right time at the end. And that last run, DJ, we've seen green flag runs here before. This is a little dicey, so we could see a long one middle or end of race.
Yeah, certainly. We saw 112 laps here back in July that these teams ran, so they included at least 1 green flag pit stop for those during that time. And that will, you know, anytime there's going to be a green flag pit stop, they're going to put 4 tires on the car at that time. So you have to be very cautious as to how you use your tires here tonight.
Ty Dillon started this race 4th. He has moved his way up to the 2nd position. He told us before the race got started he would hope that he would have the superpower of flight to get to the front. As you see, Brennan Poole making the move by the 42.
His teammate Justin Marks is able to slip by right there.
That is for 11th position. Marks yields to 12th. On the left-hand side, you'll be able to see as they run how the chasers are doing. And of course, Eric Jones began with a little bit of a lead and is already adding to it, having led a lap. But of course, they don't add the points until the end of the race, do they, DJ?
That's exactly right. Josh Berry, very aggressive move there and moving past Ryan Sieg in the 39.
Josh, such an interesting story, runs full-time for Junior Motorsports, but in a late model at the short tracks, and has 12 victories this season already. In fact, this is the second race that he's run for Junior Motorsports this year. Parker with more on the 6.
You see Darrell Wallace Jr., they're working on Elliott Sadler for the top 5. Darrell started in 9th and has gotten all the way up to 6 and working on the 1 car of Elliott Sadler. The only thing he said on the radio is it's so hard to pass, but it doesn't look like it's been very hard for that 6 car who seems to be carving up the field nicely.
Close racing here at Kentucky Speedway. We've seen it already. We expect it all night. Josh Berry down in the 88 using the apron to get around 3 wide at Kentucky. You can follow NASCAR on Twitter and use the hashtag #TheChase to join the conversation. It's really cool. That little emoji pops up if you just use hashtag #TheChase. You can join the conversation. Welcome back to coverage of the visitmyrtlebeach.com 300. And of course, the 1 car of Elliott Sadler running in the 6th position as we've got caution on the speedway. This is the competition yellow that we spoke of earlier. Just mentioning Junior Motorsports having a vested interest in what's going on here. 2 of Junior's cars in the chase, and he looks pretty happy about it, DJ.
Yeah, talking about the good racing here tonight, and he's exactly right. I think this chase format is probably made for this series even more than the other series. It just brings everybody back together and kind of creates a new season here for a lot of these drivers. But Eric Jones having things his way these first 25 laps.
He has led them all. And as we mentioned, this competition caution to check the track and let the teams come down pit road, check the tires, perhaps change them. They don't have to. They may want to look them over and see what they look like after 25 quick laps on this 1.5-mile speedway. Reconfigured, DJ, races a little bit differently than it used to. Not quite as bumpy, but still spectacular, especially as it spreads out in 3 and 4 for that 2 and 3 wide racing.
Yeah, and they added banking down in turns 1 and 2, which creates more speed. The drivers can go through there. In race situations, they're not quite wide open, but carry a lot more speed, which means they create more speed down into turn 3. There was no banking added down there. They wanted the difficulty of the racetrack to be a challenge for the drivers, and I think every driver would agree that it's certainly done that. Turn 3 and 4 being probably the most challenging part of this racetrack.
As they head to pit road, we see it each and every week in NASCAR's National Series. Spots can be picked up on pit road, spots can be lost. There are crew members who go over the wall to change the car, change the tires, add fuel. It's up to the driver not to speed down pit road. DJ talked about it at the beginning. More pit lines here. They've got to be careful with a pit road speed of 45 miles per hour. Parker.
Darrell Wallace Jr. drove his way from 9th up into the top 5, but he asked his crew chief for one thing: keep track position. So expect 2 right side Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel for the 6 car and a bit of adjustment for loose on entry. Alex?
Ty Dillon's complaining of the car being just a little bit on the free side, meaning the back tire is not gripping the racetrack quite as well. So crew chief Nick Harrison, well, they made the decision. Slight air pressure adjustment, right side tires on his Chevrolet. Down at the bottom of the screen, Eric Jones, lightning quick car. You see just a slight chassis adjustment on the right rear. His car a little too loose in the middle of the corner.
A lot of strategy being played as you look at the race off pit road, brought to you by Geico. Several tires choosing 2 tires or maybe changing none. Still under caution at the Kentucky Speedway. We'll take this opportunity to step away and be back for green flag racing from Sparta. Ready to resume the action at the Kentucky Speedway in the restart zone. New leader Ty Dillon. He takes the field back to green. Nice jump for Dillon. He had a good pit stop. Eric Jones did not have a good pit stop, and the gentleman who's led most of the action here tonight restarts in the 5th position. Good battle as Poole looks down the outside. Trouble for Justin Marks. Marks is around and saves the 42 car back across the field. Everyone gets through clean.
We hit anything? Negative. Caution's out right here. Caution's out.
Caution out for the second time, and Dale, we've seen drivers have handfuls already this weekend. There was another one.
Yeah, we talked about this turn 3, and he actually scraped the wall down, but you can see just a car right behind him, no contact, just got a little bit loose.
He was running 10th. Here's what it looked like from Blaney's car.
He knew that was going to happen.
He kind of ran up on the car, and as he had to try to avoid that, then that got his car extremely loose. Nice job of keeping it out of the wall right here. Just have to calm the driver down, get some tires on it.
Good save and recovery for Justin Marks. So we mentioned that Jones had a poor pit stop. Alex, you were there.
Yeah, Dave, what it was is when they pulled the right front tire out of the wheel well, it got stuck on the fender on the inside of the sheet metal. Then when they tried to put the new right side tire on, they got it caught again. As you see the crew member give the fist pump there, how it hit the wheel well. So that was the problem that cost him a handful of positions on the pit stop.
Jones in the 6th place as this caution flew here. Back in the pack, can the fastest car all weekend come back to the front? We'll know when we come back. The field is in turn 4, getting ready for the resumption of the 300-miler here tonight at the Kentucky Speedway. You were on board for a moment there with Eric Jones. We'll ride with him and listen to his spotter communicate with him on this restart.
20 away. 10. He's there. Green, green, green. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Tight in front of the 1. Tight in front of the 1. Inside. Inside with room. Inside with room. Inside on the bottom. Clear if you need it. Clear if you need it. Clear, clear. Inside. Inside. Still there, top at 3, top at 3. Now just the 18 on the bottom. Inside with room, clear, all clear.
Wow.
Clear by 5.
That was spotter coverage presented by Liberty Mutual Insurance, helping drivers worry less. And they could have helped everyone behind Eric Jones on that, DJ, because that was almost a mess down in turn 3.
Boy, things got extremely tight. Elliott Sadler got put in the middle there. You saw him lose 5, 6, 7 spots there before he could finally get back in line.
Down the backstretch now, Matt tipped with a car that doesn't look like it's handling the way he wants it to. The 48 of Poole will move through for 7th.
Well, none of them are handling very good up in that second groove. I can tell you that. They're trying to stay out of that position right now. This harder tire makes it more difficult to run in that second groove. There's just no rubber put down there throughout practice.
Tipped back to 9th, now getting a challenge from Sam Hornish in the 2 car. Yeah, Jones was getting cleared to go make a run on 2nd place Suarez and leader Ty Dillon, but behind him it was 2 and 3 wide, and drivers with their cars moving around quite a bit. That was a show.
Yeah, and we saw J.J. Yaley there in the 44 car coming off turn 2 extremely high, but was able to keep it out of the wall.
Ty Dillon leading laps, has not won since his 2014 Indianapolis triumph. Said that this year has not been a disappointment, but he's sure expected to win, and he may need that to become a champion here in the chase.
Yes, I talked to him yesterday. He felt like that they had made some gains, and this first round, this round of 12, that he just wanted to be patient, not make any mistakes. They felt like that if they're in position to win, certainly he wants to take advantage of that, but it was about being consistent through these first 3 races and moving on to that round of 8.
As you look at the points as they run there on the left, the top line says it all for Ty Dillon, leader. If he could keep that up to the checkered flag, that would mean moving right through. So Matt Tipp trying to get under Brennan Poole right there. That is for 8th position, Alex.
Yeah, Matt Tipp, Dave, is saying that the car is just way too loose when he rolls out of the throttle going into the corners. He's having to dance with the steering wheel to maintain the car underneath him. We saw a couple of laps ago that the car washed up the track. That's because he's having to chase the car up the track.
What kind of a handful is that, DJ?
Yeah, that makes it tough, and you just have to adjust your driving to what the car's doing at the time. Hopefully you can get back, make some adjustments, not lose too many spots, or if you can figure out a new way to make your car work and feel better. And that's the 2nd time in 2 laps here, and the 3rd time that we've seen Josh Berry use that apron on the front straightaway. I think he likes that move.
10th position, he gets 2 of them at a time.
Yeah, that's the only thing better than passing them single-handedly, you know.
That's right.
Get them 2 at a time makes it a lot easier.
See, they're going to be passing on pit road, picking him off 1 at a time. Josh Berry just decides to go 3 wide at Kentucky. Nice move there for the driver from Hendersonville, Tennessee.
And I've been watching him, and all of these passes have been on the front straightaway there, which means he's getting through turn 3 and off of turn 4 extremely well, an area that a lot of these drivers are finding not to their liking right at this time. So he's got something good with his race car right now.
His Junior Motorsports teammate, Justin Allgaier, there in the red and white number 7, runs in the 6th position. And a good view from Ryan Blaney's car. You can see the speeds, DJ, approaching the 185, 186, 187, 88, 89, down into turn 1.
Yeah, it's just tremendously fast since the repave of this racetrack, especially the fastest part of the racetrack. It's down into turn 1. They don't lose a whole lot of speed down in. This is where they don't have the banking to lean on, so they have to get back out of the throttle. You can see Justin Allgaier right there get extremely loose. Ryan Blaney able to take that spot away.
Blaney trying to get the 22 car for Roger Penske in the Xfinity Series to victory lane for the first time in 2016. And you can see Brendan Gaughan has been in the wall with that 62 car. Here it is, DJ.
Oh, yeah. Up out of the corner there, out of turn 4, and that's whenever Josh Berry was able to make it 3 wide with Elliott Sadler in the middle. What are they saying, Parker?
We know a lot of times on restarts there, you know, you have lower air pressures, DJ, that sometimes allow the car to travel a little bit more. Well, it sounds like what I heard on the radio from Brendan, he felt like he got on the splitter on that restart, and then as he got behind other cars, and especially coming off 4, the car wouldn't turn. He got in the wall, and he described it as more than just brushing the decals off. It was a major hit in the wall.
You see by the red pieces on the 62 car, he is part of the chase. And Elliott Sadler in the 1 car, same look.
Yeah, Sadler was right there behind Brendan Gaughan, trying to make a move on him, and I think that could have had a little something to do with the way Brendan's car drove up out of the corner. Not sure if Sadler got a piece of the wall or not, but certainly struggling here on this after this restart.
And you drivers talk about how you take the air off of one another when you get that close. What happens there, DJ?
Yeah, well, in that case, probably just freed the car up. You're not able to turn the car, or the back end's going to come around. So you just try to use up all the racetrack as you can. And Brendan Gaughan just had too much speed and got into the outside wall. You say, oh, Ryan Reed right there. Nobody right behind him, but these drivers are really fighting this right side tire. They were telling me that they like the tire better, other than the fact that it's just not giving them a good feel of the race car to where they can really attack this place.
Nice move to 5th place right there for Ryan Blaney. Top 5 run for him. Meanwhile, Ty Dillon in the 3 car. He is out front and leading, and he's been doing this for a long time. There's Ty right there, and his brother Austin. They were destined to be in NASCAR. Three-way battle for the lead at Kentucky. Ty Dillon in the 3 car has the lead, and working through traffic, he's got Daniel Suarez right on his tail. Eric Jones is there in the 20. This battle's been going on for about 5 laps, DJ. They've been just pressing a little bit each lap on Ty, and he's got a mirror full of them now.
Yeah, and Ty's done a nice job of navigating through some traffic. Not exactly sure where some of the lap cars are going to let him go as far as which side of them that they're allowing him to go. So he's done a really good job of keeping these 2 Joe Gibbs racing cars behind him for the time being.
All 3 of these drivers are in the chase. Actually, the top 4 are Darrell Wallace Jr. just 4 seconds behind this group. And DJ, you and I have talked all weekend about how important it is for you to make a pass at any certain time and take the risk. Right now, Ty Dillon's in the driver's seat. He's in the winning transfer position, but he's got company.
Yeah, he's got a lot right there, and he certainly knows that the 2 fastest cars in the field, besides himself, are right here as Eric Jones looks to make a move on Daniel Suarez. Isn't going to be able to make that pass right at this point in time. But this isn't the time to press that issue. You know, we've got a lot of racing to go here, and even in Ty Dillon's situation, certainly he can hold them back there by just holding his line, not giving them that bottom lane. But on the other side of it, don't run the tires off your car right at this point in time, just trying to keep these 2 behind. You want to lead as many laps as you can, but in a situation like that right there, don't open the door for them.
About 25 or 30 laps from what would be green flag pit stops. We don't get a caution before. Here's Jones to the inside. He'll take it from Suarez for second.
Yeah, his car is really, really strong off of turn 4. He got it, was able to get back to the throttle, and you can see make a nice run down the front straightaway to take that second spot away.
Now locked in, laser focused on that 3 car of Ty Dillon.
See how Jones is able to put his left front tire down on that yellow line and get the car just to turn right there, and he's in the gas making it go, so he's in the gas along with the car continuing to turn. That's just a nice car to have for a driver that understands what this is about right now and able to keep his car in a good spot and running hard off the corner. These Joe Gibbs racing cars, they handle very well, but they handle well down the straightaway. A lot of power under the hood.
Jones led the first 27 laps tonight in that white number 20. Lost the lead under a round of pit stops. He's going to get it back right here, down to the inside. Eric Jones will lead this lap and take over command at Kentucky. You can set him back, but he's going to come forward again. Eric Jones back to the point.
Yeah, and I think that's what's so impressive about him being a rookie in this series is the patience that he shows. He understands that he has the best race car here, so let's not mess that up. Restarting 6 2 different times, he didn't do anything crazy. He waited till the holes opened up, got himself into position to pick these drivers off one at a time to get back to the front.
Sam Hornish is running in the 11th position. This was moments ago, looking at him from an onboard camera.
Oh. Terrible feeling as a driver when that car steps out in the center of the corner. You're trying to catch it. You're still in the gas because that was down in 1 and 2, and he's never really come out of the gas all the way. So a great catch and save by Sam Hornish.
It's a lot of skill right there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's amazing what you can do with your eyes closed sometimes.
Eyes wide open for Eric Jones. He's at the front of the field at Kentucky.
This program is brought to you by Craftsman. Celebrate 25 years of Craftsman Club by texting SPEED to 95990 for a chance to win a 2017 Chevy Silverado 1500.
The Xfinity Series started back in 1982, and this year it got an injection of excitement with a chase format for the first time. Elimination in 3 rounds, a round of 12, a round of 8. And a championship 4, and Eric Jones leads one of those drivers who hopes to be hoisting the trophy at Homestead, Miami later this year. Brandon Jones, one of those drivers as well in the chase. Parker?
Well, Brandon Jones restarted 14th in after this past caution, is driven all the way up to 10th, and he's been a little snug off the corners. But one thing to note, being a rookie and a part of this chase, when I asked him earlier today, what does it mean to be a part of this chase? His eyes brightened up when he looked at it. He said, "This is awesome." So I think this team is really taking each and every day about going about having a top 10. And his crew chief, Mike Hillman Jr., said to me afterwards today, after practice, he said, "We need to be in the top 10. And just after this last lap, his spotter came over and said, "You're coming to life, bud. They're coming to you."
Man, and Parker, look at the run he got on Ryan Reed right there.
Yeah, and a tight race car at this point in time is not a bad thing.
And this is on pit road right now on the 77 car of Matt Waltz. And fire officials are putting that out, but that could be right where teams want to pit under green, so NASCAR rightly puts the caution out. And they're going to get that taken care of.
And I think maybe Ryan Reed was attempting to get onto pit road thinking that may happen, but got back out.
Take a look and see. Yep, here comes Ryan.
I don't know if he had an issue or if they were just trying to play a strategy game here.
You can see on the left, the red light came on.
The light came on, and he avoided that, which would have, he could have passed on through without getting a penalty. But if he had gone on and stopped in his pit, that would have been a penalty.
But trying to take advantage of the moment, which was we see something happening, driver get to pit road. So he'll lose several positions. Reed back to 15th now. He had been battling in the 10th spot. They're on board with Ryan, trying to find some more speed in those Roush Fenway cars. But DJ, as we've talked about, this first round may be more about not hurting yourself.
Yeah, and that was a real gamble that they were going to play right there of not, getting on pit road and getting some work done, not getting lapped and overtaken there. So that's a real gamble. You have to look at this still early in the race. Could they have made that up if it didn't work for them? They lost some spots there, but that's not going to be too devastating to them. They have a pretty decent car. But as we've said, don't shoot yourself in the foot here tonight. Give yourself an opportunity to go to these next two races with the chance of advancing into that round of 8.
Ryan Reed, one of several drivers who was only given 2 right side tires on that first stop. The 7 of Justin Allgaier took 4 among those running up front. Allgaier is back up to 5th position, DJ, probably on the strength of that second set of 2.
Yeah, and making some adjustment to his race car. Yep. We saw him get extremely loose down there one time, so he did a nice job of adjusting his driving style to get the most out of the car there. So we were about 15 laps away from pit stops there, so the drivers have a good idea of what their car will do in a longer run situation here now. We'll see what adjustments they make from here, but I'm pretty sure that we'll be looking at 4 tires now.
Gear up with the pit crew and get the latest NASCAR t-shirts, hats, and die-cast at the NASCAR.com Superstore. Visit NASCAR.com/Superstore today for all of your favorite drivers' gear. Pits are open for these drivers now. And second time they hit pit road here, DJ, and the first time down for Eric Jones's crew, it didn't go well.
No, it didn't, but they've probably told him that he needs to make an adjustment of where he holds the wheel. You get those fender wells so tight there, and so if you're off just a little bit, have the tire turn one way or another, then it can make it difficult for them. So they've probably told Eric, look, this is how you need to hold it so that we won't have that same issue, and we'll see if they're able to make that adjustment here on this pit stop.
Jones will lead the field to pit road. He has led 40 laps here tonight, reassumed the lead during that green flag run, and you see all the leaders are going to follow him down and get some fresh Goodyear rubber and a fill of Sunoco fuel and get their way to the next time they have to visit pit road, Parker.
Just now got our pits out of the 5th position. Was not happy with that set of tires. It was loose in, tight off. They're going to do 4 Goodyear tires, air pressure adjustment, and Sunoco fuel for the 7 car. Alex?
The 19 of Daniel Suarez, the middle of your screen, said the car's a little edgy in the middle of the corners. They're going to put fresh Goodyear tires on the right side of the machine. A little slow there on the right rear. They are also going to make a quick track bar adjustment. 4 fresh Goodyear Sunoco fuel for Suarez. Right side tires only for Eric Jones. They told him on the radio just before coming to pit road, be careful, do not slide the tires and flat spot them to ruin the strategy.
There is your race off pit road. Eric Jones maintains the lead at Kentucky. Still under the 3rd caution at the Kentucky Speedway. NASCAR is brought to you by these fine sponsors: Craftsman, Credit One Bank, and Toyota. Ready for the restart here. Eric Jones, 2 right side tires on that stop, DJ. He's on the original lefts from the beginning of the race. Everyone else around him took 4.
Yeah, and I know this took place back the first race that we had this year, and where for the first couple of pit stops, a lot of the teams did just take right side tires, but everybody that he's racing at least back to 10th, and I'm pretty sure the rest of them took 4 tires here. Be very interesting to see how he's able to hold up. He's got the fastest car, but now he's got different tire than what the rest of the field does.
And he has control of the field. Eric Jones has to lead the field at this cautious pace back to the restart zone, and once he hits the edge of the restart zone, it is up to him to go back to the gas. If he does not, by the end of the restart zone, the flagman starts the race, and it's on. They're coming out of turn 4 to that zone now. It's nicely marked here at the Kentucky Speedway. Once they get past that white triangle on the track, there's a white restart zone just down to the lower right portion of the screen. You can see it right here. Green flag is back out for Jones and the rest of the field. Immediately to the outside, Allgaier in the 7 looking for a place to go. Three wide through 1 and 2. They make it work. 4 wide down the backstretch. Jones to the inside. Blaney backs out. Josh Berry backs out. They make it through again.
Somehow, some way, Justin Allgaier drove the car as far down into turn 3 as you can, make it stick. He was able to make that work and get cleared back to the bottom, but they're still 3 wide behind him.
That was wild. So's this coming back into turn 1. Hornish and Sadler tight. Oh, spin behind. There's trouble in turn 2. And out of control, the 52 of Joey Gase.
15 of Blake Jones is involved in this.
And that happened behind all the action that was going on with the lead group. And there's Jones' wrecked race car.
All good. I wouldn't know where to go, bud. The whole trunk was lost.
Something got that started. We will go find it. And Joey Gase and Blake Jones were in trouble. You see Ray Black Jr. there in the red, white, and blue 07 was involved, we believe. And Gase's car is significantly shortened up. Let's take a look. That's already happened down to the inside, I think, is the 07 of Black.
Yeah, could have possibly been contact there between the 07 and the 52.
Again, behind this group, we catch it late.
And it looked like Jones had nowhere to go.
Boy, tough luck for Joey Gase, the Iowa driver. And the safety crews now trying to keep that fluid from going down the track and lengthening this caution period. So big wreck over in turn 2 involving 3 cars, 2 sustaining heavy damage. It's the first race for Jones, by the way, in the Xfinity Series, and a hard way to end it. He'll get the mandatory ride to the infield care center, and hopefully he is okay. So for the 4th time, the caution is out here at Kentucky, and the 3 wide and the 4 wide on that restart, DJ, that was impressive.
We knew that these restarts were going to be an exciting part of this, and with, you know, barely 2 grooves here, these drivers were taking it 3 wide down into the corner, and they somehow made it work, except back in the field here.
What does a driver know about his race car, even after adjustment, DJ, that lets him do that?
Yeah, it's just a feel and the opportunity. And I think the one that was impressive, Justin Allgaier tried to make a move down in 1 and 2. It put him in a 3 and 4 wide situation as he went down the back straightaway. And this is a driver that certainly involved in the chase. But then as things got to the point that he knew what he had to do as he got down to turn 3, and probably the furthest that he's driven into that corner all week, and made it work. And behind that, it just kind of stacked things up, and they were still 3 wide racing for position. And you know, Josh Berry, I saw him down in 1 and 2 trying to make another groove there, but he's been very aggressive so far in this race.
Exciting for a lot of drivers on the restart, including Ryan Blaney. We rode on board.
3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Tie behind you. You might get a position. Tie behind you. You might get a position. Going to push you 3 wide. Outside net. Outside net. Outside net. Corner, you're moving on him. Clear high, slope high. Inside, inside. Outside, inside now. Back to 3 wide. Nothing you can do there. Inside now. Clear high if you need it. Still inside. 3 wide top. 3 wide top. We're going to settle in here. 3 wide top. Back at 2 wide. 3 wide top. 2 wide inside. Still down there. Clear low. Outside. All good, bud. Right corner. Got to spin off of 2. Caution, caution, caution. I mean, we're going to be fine here.
That was spotter coverage presented by Liberty Mutual Insurance, helping drivers worry less. And that was the very experienced voice of Joey Meyer. Brad Keselowski, spotter on the Sprint Cup side, and for the 22 on the Xfinity side for Penske Racing. We saw him on the way in, DJ.
Yeah, he did a nice job of helping his driver there navigate through all of that. That was pretty wild. I mean, it was even wilder watching from that view than what we thought. They could just see everything going on. We expect nothing less to happen throughout the rest of this race.
And Joey confirmed for us what we thought was the case here. A lot of not the regular spotters here tonight in Kentucky. Great race so far. Eric Jones still leads. NASCAR on NBCSN is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. By Craftsman. If it matters to you, it matters to us. Craftsman, when it matters. and by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR. And you can get your NASCAR coverage when you're on the go if you've got NASCAR Mobile. It's the official app of NASCAR, and it puts race coverage and live in-car cameras right in your hand. You can even listen to drivers and teams discuss race strategy. Download free at NASCAR.com/mobile. Right now, they might be talking about where they stand on fuel. During this break, Parker informing us up here that a lot of them were talking about perhaps topping off, just adding fuel before they go back to green, DJ, so they can make it on one more stop fuel-wise.
Yeah, or the possibility is there that they may could save enough fuel here under this caution if it's going to be long enough that that would keep them from coming there. If you're back far enough, there's no reason not to. But for those drivers that are right up front, it would certainly be a decision they'll have to make.
We're going to go back to break, showing you the chase standings as they are here in Kentucky. But you won't miss a thing because we're going NASCAR nonstop.
Before taking his team to state for the first time,
Go get it, Marcus. Go get it.
Coach Gilman used his Cash Rewards credit card from Bank of America to earn 1% cash back everywhere, every time, at places like the batting cages. 2% back at grocery stores, and now at wholesale clubs. And 3% back on gas, which helped him give his players something extra.
It's a little token.
The Cash Rewards credit card from Bank of America. More cash back for the things you buy most.
I absolutely love my New York apartment, but the rent is outrageous. Good thing Geico offers affordable renters insurance. With great coverage, it protects my personal belongings should they get damaged, stolen, or destroyed. Excuse me.
Delivery. Hey, lo mein, Szechuan chicken, chopsticks, soy sauce, and you got some fortune cookies. Have a good one.
These small New York apartments.
Protect your belongings. Let Geico help you with renter's insurance.
Rated E for everyone.
What is a world without walls? It's where boundaries cease to exist. Where 350 cars are under your control. And every road is an open invitation. This is Forza Horizon 3.
Play the free demo now on Xbox One.
At NASCAR, we find ways to make a difference. We've planted trees so emissions can be cut down. We use Sunoco Green E15, a clean ethanol blend to fuel race cars. And our waste oil never goes to waste. When the sun comes up, we put it to work. NASCAR Green. Visit NASCAR.com/green to learn more and see how you can make a difference.
Only 2 chances to make it to the round of 12. The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues tomorrow on NBCSN.
The Ryder Cup on Golf Channel and NBC.
Back at the Kentucky Speedway, pit road is open. Should the leaders choose to get any work done on their cars, and they're staying out right now. They were on pit road on lap 72. A few, DJ, outside the top 10, it looks like, will take this opportunity.
Yeah, that's the smartest thing to do. We have 20 cars on the lead lap. They're not going to lose any of their track position to speak of here because they were behind that. So come in, work on your car, and get some fuel that could possibly put you in a position later in this race to take advantage of this.
Parker?
You know, the 62 of Brendan Gaughan was at the tail end of the lead lap. There's a lot of discussion about doing this and making sure they got enough fuel because it puts them in their window, as well as work a little bit more on that right side damage in the right rear after he got in the wall off turn 4. Alex?
Matt Tifft also coming down, taking advantage of this, topping it off with that Sunoco fuel, trying to play a different strategy. They haven't shown the raw speed in the early part of this race to simply drive to the front of the field, so trying to get off sequence on pit strategy.
Ryan Reed, Blake Cook, J.J. Yaley, also on pit road. among the lead group of 20 or so. You mentioned 20 on the lead lap, DJ. There's that damage on the 62 have gone.
Yeah, I think that, there's a couple of that right rear quarter panel, very important as far as downforce and side force goes. So when you knock that in, you lose a little bit of that. The driver doesn't have the good feel of the car that he's looking for to be aggressive here. So make your repairs. Good time for that right here. Get him going again.
Well, let's see how we got to where we are right now. The first race ever in the Xfinity Series as far as a chase race is concerned, and Eric Jones led him to green. Had some trouble on pit road, DJ.
Yeah, just a two-tire stop, but couldn't get the tire off on the right front. Then they had a hard time getting it indexed and back on again. Lost them 5 spots, restarted 6.
Taking advantage of that blue car, Ty Dillon, he went to the front to lead here at Kentucky. Justin Marks with some trouble in turn 4.
Yeah, on this restart, got down into turn 3 a little bit too aggressive. Spun, didn't hit anything though. Just had to come get some tires.
Nice save. And Jones then drove back around Ty Dillon. Didn't do it immediately. Took him a number of laps, took his time, and paced his way to get by to retain the lead. So the spotter was going to call the 16 to pit road while Matt Waltz was getting the fire put out, but pit road got closed, so they aborted that. This was the big crash that we're under caution for now. Joey Gase, Blake Jones, and Ray Black Jr. all involved. Cleanup being completed. We'll be back with Green Flag Racing in a moment.
Time. You only have so much. That's why we want to make sure you won't have to wait on hold. And you won't have to guess when we'll turn up. Because after all, we should fit into your life, not the other way around.
Today we're going to be comparing the roll-form steel bed of the Chevy Silverado to the aluminum bed of this competitor's truck. Awesome. Yeah. First, let's check out the aluminum bed of this truck. Wow. Holy moly. Full on crack here. Now let's check out the steel bed of the Silverado.
I'd expect more dents. No holes.
Find your tag and get 16% of MSRP cash back on select remaining 2016 Silverado pickups in stock. That's over $7,500 cash back on this Chevy Silverado. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
Buy one, get one boneless wings.
I know, and I can never choose which one flavor to get.
Right.
So now I can get hot honey and garlic parmesan.
Exactly. It's the best of both worlds.
Yeah, there's way more worlds than that. There's Earth.
Right.
Earth 2.
No.
Schmirth.
Schmirth, that just rhymes with it. That's not a real planet.
Florida.
Florida's a state.
Well, it seems like an entirely other world.
Buy one, get one free boneless wings are out of this world. Monday through Thursday after 5 p.m. In the AM, try a breakfast French toaster. This is how you Sonic.
I was made in the shadows of greatness, shaped by the hands of legacy, forged in the fires of racing. I've been challenged, tested, and proven. Whether it's on that track or off, the truth is, what you're made of is what you're made to do.
Jones and Dillon fight it out for the top spot. Down to the inside comes Bubba Wallace. He wants the lead. Wallace all the way through in the black and white 6 car. He'll get second.
There's Justin Allgaier being very aggressive again. Eric Jones sliding up. No, I'm sorry, that's Bubba Wallace sliding up out of the groove just a little bit.
Crossover move just a little bit by the 20 of Jones. Jones is the only driver among the leaders who didn't take 4 tires. Here comes Brennan Poole in the 48. What a move. Suarez in 4th. Now diving around, trying to get by Poole. Boy, they nearly come together there heading into 3. Allgaier in the red and white 7. He wants that low line. 3 wide off the corner. Jones on top. Suarez in the middle. Allgaier to the bottom. Blaney following through. And caution is back out for the 13 car of Timmy Hill.
Wow, what racing that was.
My goodness. Darrell Wallace Jr. in that 6 car drove off of turn 2 and nearly to the lead, DJ.
He sure did. Great move. And I think part of that had to do with Eric Jones. That team deciding to take 2 tires. He wasn't able to hold it down. We can see the smoke. I don't know if this is the engine expiring or just a line possibly that came loose, but lots of trouble.
Hill gets it turned down and into the garage area. Looks like Joey Gase is going to come back out in the 52. I thought that car was damaged beyond repair, but Gase will return to the raceway. Let's take another look at that restart because that was fun.
Yeah, Todd Dillon did a great job right here of getting restarted right with Eric Jones. And as they got down into turn 1, was right down on the right side of this car, which wasn't allowing Jones to get back, stay in the throttle the way that he wanted to. And you can see right here, he's going to wash up just a little bit, not able to keep the throttle down. Bubba Wallace takes advantage of this situation and makes it a 3-wide opportunity.
Wallace put the throttle down. The car stuck to the low line. He got 4 tires, as did everybody but Eric Jones up there in front. A little bit of a wash up there, and that's when Jones had the chance to make the crossover move.
Yeah, Bubba Wallace tried to get just a little bit too much there, but it was something that wouldn't. He was able to get a little bit of a push here from down to Suarez and got him back into that second spot, so he was able to clear all of this mess.
Remember the magnitude of what these drivers are doing. A win puts them through to the 2nd round of the Xfinity Chase, and they're fighting hard for it here at nearly just the halfway point, DJ.
Yeah, you would think that we're down into the closing laps of a restart right here with the way all of this is taking place and the chances that they're really taking, but just shows they realize this opportunity tonight is something with Ryan Blaney being the only Cup driver here and Elliott Sadler looking at this as an opportunity to come to pit road and probably work on his race car. I just don't think that he's had it where he's wanted here so far tonight.
See a little bit of a scrape there on the 1 car, just barely grazed the wall earlier. Alex?
DJ hit it right on the head. The car is not at all handling the way he wants it to. You saw an adjustment on the left rear corner, a big adjustment again on the right rear. Oh, man, he's going to have a rotator cuff injury as many times as he turned that wedge wrench there. The car, they made adjustments on it. The first couple of pit stops, they went the wrong way. So the last stop they came in, they had to redo all of those adjustments to try to find another balance. Here on this stop, as we just saw, multiple adjustments on this car. Boy, they're having a hard time getting this car to drive into the corner.
Alex, thanks. We'll step away. More action at Kentucky in a moment. Sure glad you could join us tonight for the Xfinity Series race from the Kentucky Speedway, the start of the chase, and it's been a fun one so far. Ryan Reed has run very well in the 16 car tonight, but he's had his issues. Parker with more.
Well, Dave, you may have noticed back on lap 70, just before that caution came out, Ryan was diving to pit road. Then he dived off pit road. Why was he going to pit road? This problem right here, the right front was cording here. They were fighting a tight condition off the corner, and sometimes, as you can see here, as you really abuse these race tires, you can get this condition where it blisters and then cords, as the 16 had. And we know Goodyear brought a harder tire than we had here earlier this year, but not really working out for the 16 right now.
Parker, thanks, and there's the answer. Pit road closed just as he was trying to do that, DJ, and he nicely got out of coming in.
Yeah, so there's no strategy played. It was just the fact that he needed to get to pit road and change that tire, but that looks almost like a situation that maybe there's a little too much camber in that, and that's something that they'll have to keep an eye on all night long. You can use that camber sometimes to help your car to turn, and sometimes it can be a little bit too much.
His teammate Bubba Wallace is going to show us this week's Ford drive to the championship. And he was pretty aggressive on that last restart.
Oh, you got to love this. This is a track that Bubba Wallace does great on, and being aggressive on these restarts is part of getting good finishes here. Tried to get a little too much there, but was still able to stay in second place throughout that little run. Really got to like that. Yeah, that's something, save that move to the end of the race. It might put you in victory lane.
And DJ, that restart skill is something that's not something a rookie just knows. He's not a rookie, but as you develop, what is so tough about these restarts?
Well, the biggest thing is as you go off down into 1 and 2, you're running pretty much wide open through there. So understanding that your car, what it will and won't do in that type of situation, allows you to be able to make moves like that. Great job by Bubba.
You can see the stats backing up what DJ was talking about. This is among his very best tracks in the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, let's see how he fares on the outside here. Ty Dillon's been really good on these restarts. He's kind of waited. He's mixed it up the couple of times that he's had the lead there and been in control of this. If Bubba's able to hang with him, he's going to have a good pusher on his bumper, and that could mean as much getting that help down into turn one. Bubba might be able to get the lead away.
Dillon, Wallace, then Poole and Jones, followed by Allgaier and Suarez, your top 6. And behind them, a couple of drivers who we put in the spoiler category as we started the event here tonight. Ryan Blaney in the 22 and Sam Hornish Jr. in the 2. They can win the race, but they have no play in the Drivers' Championship. There is an Owners' Championship going on as well. We'll see what they can do from that spot.
Yeah, Justin Marks has come back from that spin, is inside the top 10, that ninth spot.
The field under control of Dillon. He hits the gas and leaps away from the field. Down to the grass goes Blaney. He gathers it back up. 3 wide through 1 and 2. That's hard to do. They make it. Dillon still with command. Jones now to the outside of Wallace. They're side by side off the corner. Through the speed drive and trouble. Marks is around again in the 42. Brandon Jones, chaser, is involved. A couple of cars going to pit road, evasive action. But this is big for the 19-year-old from Atlanta. Brandon Jones with big trouble on that 33, one of the chase drivers. He was running 11th when this happened.
But he's going right in front of you.
Yeah, there was still a lot of the speedy drive.
Got him too.
And you can drive through it. There is grip there, DJ, but if your car is at all loose,
yeah,
it can add to the problem.
You can find yourself, because you're in tight confines there, you have cars around you, so your car is aero loose, and then you happen to hit that speedy drive, going in the wrong direction a little bit, and the car hung out just a little, got away from Justin Marks, and unfortunately, it cost Brandon Jones.
Look to the right of the screen.
See if there's contact maybe. Yeah, there was some contact, I believe, there from the 88 of Josh Berry. So I don't think it had anything to do with the speedy drive, other than maybe if Josh Berry got his right front end there and couldn't get turned and looked like he got into the left rear of Justin Martin.
Let's look at it from Ryan Reed's perspective. And Reed dives down low and misses the action. But you're right. Here it is again. Left of the screen, and the contact, if it occurred, has already happened. We've seen instances where, without a doubt, there was contact, and then there's not, but it was close enough to affect the 42 either way.
Yeah, it certainly looked like by the first view that we saw that there was a little bit of contact.
Our handheld camera operators down on pit road getting a look at that. Nice shot down there.
And we couldn't keep having these restarts and some contact not be had. I mean, the racing's just been incredible. 2, 3, and sometimes 4 wide. So you're going to run out of racing room. And again, unfortunately, Brandon Jones just kind of riding around on the outside and staying out of trouble, he thought, for the moment.
So nearing the halfway point, that puts Brandon Jones last among the chase drivers in 21st position at this point right now. We'll see if Jones can recover from this when we come back to Kentucky Speedway.
My brother and I have always been rivals. We would dream about racing each other in Monaco. We were born brothers. Competition made us friends. Wish bold in a 2017 Camry. Toyota, let's go places.
Hey, you're the...
I used to ask if you could hear me now, but I switched to Sprint.
I switched too.
Great.
Have you seen all the whining from Verizon?
I think Verizon, the Goliath, is panicking. People are switching to Sprint. All these networks are great now. People are tired of overpaying.
Sprint cut my rates by 50%.
Sprint's network covers nearly 300 million people, and their network reliability is within 1% of Verizon. Can you hear that?
Switch to Sprint and save 50% on most current Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile rates.
Sport your fall favorites. Find your style at Men's Warehouse during our fall wardrobe event. Buy one, get one free on great designer looks going on now. Men's Warehouse. Rise to the occasion.
I take Prilosec OTC each morning for my frequent heartburn. Because you can't beat zero heartburn.
Prilosec OTC, the #1 doctor-recommended frequent heartburn medicine for 10 straight years. 1 pill each morning, 24 hours, zero heartburn.
This is why I love it here. That fresh air all up in your face. My cousin Wilbur in the city has to wear a leash just to go for a stroll. I'm sorry, no. But with propane, you can live where you want and how you want. And since it's both clean and reliable, you could say propane is man's best fuel. She knows what I'm talking about. Proudly independent, proudly American, proudly propane.
Chase is underway. Rewind behind him. Door to door as they go to turn 30. Down the backstretch.
NASCAR on NBCSN is brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance, helping drivers worry less on the track and on the road. During NASCAR Nonstop, you saw the work starting there on Brandon Jones' car. There you see it. Pit road is open. The leaders have chosen to stay out at this point. Alex is down to the 33 garage.
No fewer than 15 different sets of hands, Dave, working on this race car with a chase and a championship on the line. They're going to do all they can to get this car back on the racetrack. Two important things, though, they radioed in as he was driving back to the garage. He still had oil pressure and he still had water pressure, so that means the engine seems to be okay. But as you can tell, an awful lot of cosmetic work they have to do, and they're really concerned right now about the right front suspension.
Alex points out a couple of crucial things there, DJ, still held together. What are the basics they're trying to get back to here for Brandon?
Yeah, well, there's a minimum speed that you have to abide by, so the crew's going to have to get this car where he can drive it up to that. They'll go back out, try to make as many laps as they possibly can. Each spot is worth 1 point, and you never know when that could come in handy at the end of this first three-race segment that we have here. So very unfortunate. He was doing an outstanding job all night, kind of keeping himself out of trouble, not being too aggressive, but you can see just wrong place, wrong time here. It just really looks like that there was a little contact between the 88 and 42. He tried to go to the high side because that's where he was and committed to that, and unfortunately Justin Marks in the 42 slid right up in front of him.
Josh Berry driving the 88 tonight. Contact with the 42 of Justin Marks. Collected Brandon Jones. And none the worse for the wear. After his second spin of the night, Justin Marks returns to the track. I say none the worse. He's ate up a couple of sets of tires there with those spins, and a little bit of damage on the car as well.
Yeah, but Justin had also been doing a nice job. He recovered from that first spin, worked his way back up inside the top 10 there, and was running well. But you know, this is tight, close, hard racing that we're seeing so far here tonight.
Now the points are awarded at the end of tonight's race, but just for talking about it, we see how they are at this point. And if you're looking toward the round of 8, DJ, you see that Sadler is right there, barely on the bubble. Gone, Reed, Cook, and Jones at this point, not enough points to advance.
Yeah, and of course Sadler's in this position partly because he made a pit stop the last caution that we had to make some adjustments to their car, starting to make his way back up, so that could possibly change. But you can see the uphill climb now that Brandon Jones is going to have to try to work his way into that top 8 to move into that next round.
This has been a good race. Eric Jones, with basically the fastest car all weekend, has led 56 laps, but Ty Dillon leads in a Richard Childress racing car. Darrell Wallace Jr. runs second in a Roush Fenway racing car. We know that these teams have done everything they can to try to step it up for the chase, and so far, the other teams, besides Joe Gibbs Racing, have been very competitive tonight.
Yeah, they've been very, outstanding here. Ty Dillon leading a lot of laps. Bubba Wallace being very aggressive and getting his car and running in the top 5 most of the night. Here, Eric Jones is sitting here now. We're going to see if once we get back to going and run for a little while, Eric Jones still on the same left side tires that he started this race on. How is that going to affect? Is this car that good that they can give that advantage to all of those competitors right around them? I think we've seen on these restarts, it's been a handful for Eric Jones. I know that he's trying to be patient here and realizing the situation, but we'll see just how good this 20 car and driver is.
Remember, about 30 laps ago, the field was split. Cars that pitted, cars that didn't. The top 14 stayed out, and those behind them on the lead lap decided to pit, DJ. So a little bit of a mix there.
Yeah, and that was for fuel. So they came and got fuel, but we've had most of that time since then run under caution. So these drivers are doing their job. You don't just ride around out there under caution as a driver. You've got a job to do there too. And at this particular time, it's about saving fuel. You have to keep your pace, but you've got to save as much fuel as possible to try to make this still a one-stop race if that's what they're looking at.
Saw a lot of red spoilers in that last shot. The chase drivers, as you would expect, running toward the front and making a good show of things here. Top 5 drivers as they come back to green are chase contenders. And another 3 in the top 10. Ryan Sieg in the 39 car has now made his way to the top 10.
Yeah, doing an excellent job here so far and staying out of trouble, but running very competitive. We'll see on this next restart right here. Ty Dillon has done a really, really good job of getting himself clear of all of that 2, 3, and 4 wide racing.
Avoid trouble, but hope trouble doesn't find you on the 1.5 mile Kentucky Speedway. Back to the restart zone comes Ty Dillon out on the inside in the blue number 3. He'll get the green. Here we go again, down to the apron and lower. 3 wide through 1 and 2. Boy, that's tight.
See, Eric Jones there took advantage of that Ty Dillon. Good restart. Caught Bubba Wallace off guard just a little bit because he waited to the last second to restart.
Ryan Reed got out of shape going into 3. Matt Tiff was in the area. Here's a battle for the lead. Jones down to the inside. He'll lead at the line. Dillon fights back on the outside.
Yeah, not going to give up here. He knows that that 20 car is not handling quite as good on those 2 tires. So if he can keep him there, keep him pinned down, this might be an opportunity to either make him make a mistake or to keep the lead for a little bit.
Backs it off at the start and now gets up out of the groove just a little bit. Ty Dillon trying to save the 3. He does it off the corner. What a nice save. To the lead comes Bubba Wallace. Strong 9 for the driver of the 6.
It's just Bubba Wallace being as patient as Bubba can be, and we're waiting for the right situation as those 2 cars race side by side, both of them getting loose. Bubba was able to take advantage of that, got a little push from a Ford teammate in Ryan Blaney, and was able to take the lead.
Boy, look at that sideways. Daniel collects it, but man, through the stay dry.
Yeah, going to cost him at least 4 spots right there, though.
That was hard on the championship contender in the 19. I got to tell you, Bubba Wallace may have been loose before the start of this race. He is all business, DJ, since the drop of the green.
Yeah, he came in there with just that attitude that, hey, I've been given a second chance here with this new chase format in this Xfinity series, and he wants to take advantage of it.
Trying to capitalize after the big Tennessee win this afternoon, Parker.
And I actually got to spend a little bit of time when he was watching that game inside his car with his crew and his crew chief, Seth Barber. I was trying to ask him questions about this race team, and he said it's pretty simple. We haven't brought anything different. I'd like to say we brought a new car or a new body, but we haven't. We just tweaked on the things we have, and we've slowly gotten better, and we're doing everything that's gotten us here right now, and we hope the speed just improves when we get in the race, and you're seeing that right now from that 6 car.
That has been fast and good on the restarts, DJ.
And I think off turn 4, I don't know if Brendan Gaul got into the wall again, but he's certainly slow, getting passed by a lot of cars. May have been into the wall off turn 4 one more time.
Looks like some more green added to the side of that 62. And he drops back. Down into 3. He's behind the 39 of Sieg.
Gets in that speeding right there. You can see it still, and just once again, kind of the same thing that he fought before. More damage.
Meanwhile, up front, 2 Fords leading the way. Darrell Wallace Jr. with everything at stake concerning the chase. Ryan Blaney with nothing at stake other than the Owners' Championship and a win. And on the left, you see the move that Wallace made to get the front spot.
Yeah, you can see how Ty Dillon drove it down in right on the outside, on the right side quarter panel. It got him loose a little too much, and the 20 car, Bubba Wallace and Ryan Blaney there to take advantage of that situation. Still in front of Eric Jones in the 20 right now.
Yeah, as they battle, Jones has collected the 20 and is on the march.
And I think a little of what we're seeing here, these 2 cars, the 6 and the 22, the last time they were on pit road, they got 4 tires. The 20 car, as we pointed out, he only got 2, but here he goes, trying to make that move off of turn 4 once again. That's been so successful for him here tonight.
Just drives it off that corner, DJ, and down to the bottom of the racetrack as he tries to make the move on Ryan Blaney.
Yeah, Blaney's staying. That second group has come in even more. They're still side by side, so this battle's not settled yet as far as for this second spot.
Dicing for second place. Blaney drives it in deep into 3. He'll hold it for now. Here comes Jones.
And this is what Jones does so well. He doesn't overdrive the car down into the corner, back to the throttle, makes the straightaway longer, utilizes the horsepower that he has, takes that second spot away.
Jones through to second, setting his sights on leader, Darrell Wallace Jr.
That was a perfect example. Ryan Blaney on the outside knew that he had to drive off into the corner, got off in there a little bit hard, wasn't able to get back to the gas. That gave Eric Jones the opportunity that he was looking for.
We mentioned Ryan Sieg in the 39, resumed the race in the 10th position. This is what happened to him a couple of laps ago, and he is back to 18th.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Up and out of the groove. We've talked about how you can be aggressive and you can go after this pretty hard, but you get outside of that groove and there's just no grip whatsoever.
This is the battle for the lead. 6 Wallace, 20 Jones, 22 Blaney. And here comes Jones. That's a great drive again through turn 4, DJ.
Yeah, and we were talking about this is going to show us once we got into a run just how good this 20 car was. Was it that good that he could take 2 tires versus 4 for everybody else and go back to the front? And he's done that.
Wallace will now drop back to 3rd. And so what you can see is perhaps a short race run later, DJ, later in the race. That works out better for Darrell Wallace Jr. But with time, the 20 car of Jones appears to be better.
Yeah, Bubba Wallace is going to look for a late race restart. It's where he can make his time and try to keep himself out front and still a victory away.
And possibly catapult himself into the second round. Sam Hornish Jr. joins the front 3, running 4th in the 2 car.
Yeah, and Sam has just been steady. I think they've made this car a little bit better. We saw him have a moment back a little before halfway of this race down in turns 1 and 2 where his car got extremely loose in the middle of the corner. Looks like they made an adjustment. He's able to be a little more aggressive. His teammate there, Ty Dillon, a little bit behind, trying to recover after getting extremely loose, battling for the lead with Eric Jones a few minutes ago.
Back up front, Eric Jones has now led 59 laps, Alex.
Yeah, and it's been a very eventful 59 laps led for Eric Jones. He even lost the lead on the first pit stop of the evening back on lap 27. If you recall, when they did the right side tires only, they got the tire caught inside the wheel well, cost him a couple of spots on the pit lane.
And we saw it off of turn 4. 39 of Ryan Sieg is around. And that right front looks down. Don't know if it was a result of the spin or if that's what sent it around.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you see the right rear tire there flapping, so that's tire has actually come apart, it looks like. I don't know if he's run over something, cut it, or if it was probably from the damage there is what cut that right rear tire. He's also going to get a penalty because he was outside the cone. Probably the least of their problems right now as he entered pit road.
Got to be inside that orange cone down there before you can access pit road. You can see the damage to the right side there from the hit to the wall. Likely the cause of that, DJ.
Yeah, just pushed it in. You could see exactly where it cut that tire. You see, he was actually trying to get to pit road. He was down on the apron trying to make it, and the car got away from him. He spun right here. He was able to get it righted. NASCAR's thrown the caution at this time. See the lights come on. And then he was on the outside of the cone as he entered pit road.
So the pits are open again. It was lap 72, the last time that this lead group was down pit road. Elliott Sadler in 9th, pitted later. We'll see what they do. Wallace wants tires and fuel. The 6 car pits out of 3rd position and takes a few more with him. Parker.
Dave, you see the 6 that comes out of 3rd position, obviously doing different than the leaders. Bubba had commented early in the race how he didn't like 2 tires, so they're going to do 4 Goodyear tires, Sunoco fuel, and air pressure adjustment. And the 62 of Brendan Gaughan is also on pit road. He's been struggling with the nose of the race car. You saw him hit the wall off turn 4 early in the race. He also hit the turn 4 wall again just a little bit ago and remarked how he just kept losing the nose off of turn 4. Alex?
Matt Tifft back on the pit lane. He was on a lap 84 for Sunoco fuel only. This time they changed right side. Goodyear Eagles topped it off with Sunoco fuel, still trying to get the car to tighten up a bit.
Pit stop choices shuffling things up at the front. Eric Jones continues to lead at Kentucky. If you've got the NBC Sports app, you can watch every Xfinity Series race, get additional camera angles, driver stats, track information, and you can get it from mobile, tablet, and connected TV. Download it at NBCSports.com/live. Let's take a look at today's Toyota driver update. See Eric Jones first, Daniel Suarez 6th, and Matt Tifft 14th on the day. Jones, of course, has carried the majority of the race, having led 63 laps to this point. There you see Matt Tifft in the orange and white 18 car making his return to the series. Originally scheduled 13 races this year, had to step out for some back surgery, which led to unwanted and unidentified until that point brain surgery. And after a couple of months of recovery, he's back. Glad to see him back with us.
Okay, now we're seeing something different for the first time. The leader, which is Eric Jones, has chosen the outside lane on this restart.
You see on the left there, last time they were on pit road, this lead group of 10. DJ, we're figuring now maybe they can get to lap 145, maybe 140 before they got to come down.
Yeah, I think at 140, that gives them 60 laps to the end of the race, and most of the crew chiefs told me that they thought they could make it 60 laps, and the tire would make it 60 laps this time. So I believe that's what they're looking at doing.
So leader Jones checking out the outside line on the restart. Ryan Blaney to his inside. Behind him, Ty Dillon and Sam Hornish. Green is back out at Kentucky. Can he hold it? Blaney with a good run down the low line. Still side by side down the backstretch. Ty Dillon looking to make it 3 wide. He'll do it in turn 3.
What? Blaney did the smart thing there and backed out, understanding the situation that he's racing in the middle of right there.
The lead belongs to Jones outright. That was quite a move.
Yeah, and that's just one of those times I'm not sure about that move at this particular time of the race. Taking the lead at that point in time, if he could have pushed Eric Jones on or either Blaney on there, just because Ty Dillon had his option of which one he wanted to do, would have been much better. You can see the spots that he lost.
What is a risky pass worth? DJ's talked about it before.
Well, spin in turn 3.
And it's Marks around again to the 42. This time he's got contact with the wall. Careful now. Spotters doing their job again, and everyone gets by cleanly on the top side. Oh, it's been a rough night for Justin. And driving that smoke-filled cockpit, he's going to need more spotter help. Driver the 42 in trouble again, right side of your screen.
It looks like he was just up in that second groove and doesn't look like any contact this time.
Running 13. Kind of that 2.5 groove, Dale.
Yeah, there's just no grip up there. You know, you're trying to be aggressive on the restart and get a little too much. Talk about not as much banking down in 3 and 4, and it makes that the most difficult part of this track on the restarts in particular.
The captain of industry and also pretty good race car driver, Justin Marks. His specialty, he's always said, had been the road courses. trying to get more experience on fast ovals in NASCAR and further his driving development. Coming to pit road, chaser Blake Cook.
He's pitting from the 11th spot.
And last pitted on lap 84, so he had an additional 12 laps on the leaders. Crew chief Chris Rice calling him in. Parker?
Well, the 11 struggled a little bit tonight. They just have not had quite the race car they wanted. They're going to do 4 Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel here for this 11 car and hopefully get them turning a little bit better off the corners and snugged up on the entry, Dave.
So lead lap cars, I believe we're looking at about 21 now, DJ. This will not get him to the end on fuel.
No, it won't do that, but it could give an opportunity to do 2 tires on his next stop, whether that's under the green flag conditions or under a caution, which could gain him some spots at that time.
His Chevrolet Camaro running very strong this year. A first-year team for Blake Cook. A technical alliance with Richard Childress Racing helps them out, keeps their costs and crew down just a bit. It gives Blake a chance to race for the championship. There's Jones in the office under caution, thinking through things. His 20 car is on the top of the board on the left there, DJ.
Yeah, probably thinking he wished that we could have these cautions and he didn't have to deal with these restarts that he's dealing with here, but doing a nice job of managing all of that.
You know, behind him, his teammate Daniel Suarez went to victory at Michigan in a race car that was very good on longer runs. Talked with his crew chief Scott Graves a little bit about that. When Suarez beat Kyle Busch at Michigan, it was a long run, and that's where this car has been strong this weekend. Graves told me they tried to work just a little bit more short run speed in that to try to help them out in case they have one of those late race short runs.
Yeah, that's such a difficult decision as to what to do. You know, we've seen a lot of times having long green flag runs here at Kentucky. So do you give up that great car that you have on those longer runs and trying to make something happen on a late race restart? So sometimes you're better off taking your car and making sure that it's good on those longer runs. That's going to benefit you, let you go by the cars that aren't handling as well, and then just rely on the driver to try to get as much as he possibly can, be as aggressive as he can on the restarts.
What's going on in the pits of the 20, Alex?
Chris Gabehart, he's the crew chief for Eric Jones. Fast race car, same left side tires that you guys started the race on. What's the strategy now with so many caution flag laps?
Well, that's just it, you know. Same left side tires, but they don't have a lot of green flag laps on them. Everybody's still got to stop once. The GameStop Toyota Camry's obviously really fast, so everybody having to stop one more time. We're just wanting to control the race, and that's what we're trying to do.
How important is the clean air from what Eric's telling you?
Well, especially on these restarts, it's everything. I think once the race starts to play out a little bit, the better cars can rise to the surface. But on these restarts, everybody's hungry and trying to get them a win, and that's what this format's all about.
Chris Gabehart, crew chief for Eric Jones, playing the strategy.
Part of the crew chief development program at Joe Gibbs Racing. It's fun to see those engineers move into the calling the shots roles for that company.
Yeah, they just keep bringing them along, and they're also very talented. And the great thing about Joe Gibbs Racing is they continue to get these opportunities to move forward.
From the flag stand, you can see 1 to go for the field. 33 laps of caution since lap 72. We'd like to see a little bit more green flag racing, I think, than that.
Yeah, that's way more than half of the laps since that. So we'll see if we can get things started in the right direction. But if we do, we happen to get that green flag run then here, that's going to mean pit stops under green flag conditions. And some of these drivers and teams that have taken the chance to come in here, not that they can stretch it all the way to the end of the race at this point in time, but it might allow them to be on pit road less time to get fuel, which will be less of it, and maybe just 2 tires. Parker?
Oh, DJ, you hit the nail on the head there, but it wasn't intended. I actually got a word with Darrell Walsh's crew chief, Seth Barber, and I said, what were you guys doing there? And he said, I thought more people would pit. Everyone's going to have to pit in the next 20 laps or so if it goes green. So this team was expecting more people to come down, but now I said, you're going to take 2 tires at the end? He said, I'm going to have to. So we'll see how it plays out for the 6.
And sometimes, Dale, an alternate strategy can work out.
Sometimes it does, but, you know, they reported also, Parker did, the last time that their driver, Bubba Wallace, didn't really like 2 tires on his car. But they've made their bed now. That's kind of what they'll probably have to do to gain some of that track position back.
Eric Jones and Ryan Blaney at the front of the field. The white 20 and Jones with his hand out the window, showing the field that he is going to wave his teammate forward. You see his left hand out the window there. And he'll give it a little bit of a wave when he wants Daniel to go. Push me, take me into turn one, let me keep the lead. Got a little bit of help, and he will clear. Blaney's going to keep looking on the inside, but a good restart for Jones and his teammate Suarez. Down to the inside, Sam Hornish in the 2. He'll take over second.
There's Ty Dillon and Justin Allgaier, two drivers that have been very aggressive on these restarts also, battling it out for that 5th spot.
Suarez contesting that second place move. 2 by 2. Good racing at the recently repaved and reconfigured Kentucky Speedway.
Great job by Sam Hornish to hang in there, take that spot, got down into the corner, a little bit hot though.
Determined, and the crossover move made by Suarez down to the inside.
Here comes Ryan Blaney making it 3 wide down the front straightaway.
Dillon in the middle in the blue, Blaney in the white. On the outside, Allgaier.
It's not going to work.
Whoa, around goes Hornish.
Hang on to it, Sam. Hang on to it.
And Justin Allgaier gets into him off the corner. Chase contender Allgaier in trouble.
And Justin Allgaier was in that position because they were 3 wide going down into turn 1. Nobody really gave there. He ended up on the outside with really nowhere to go.
How it can turn in just a corner. Here's what happened to Hornish.
Oh, Suarez got loose down on the inside and got up into the left rear of Sam Hornish. That's why he was turned sideways there. And you see Justin Allgaier right here. Just, you've got a split second as a driver to make that decision as to where you can go and how you can try to avoid this car. And just not enough time to do that. You're traveling at such a high rate of speed. You can see they were 3 wide there. They pared down to 2 wide, but it's not like you can just slam on the brakes on these cars running 150 miles an hour and get them to go where you want them to go.
Hornish's car did not go where he wanted it to go, but it was off of the bumper of Daniel Suarez.
We talked about that. The driver on the inside is in a real vulnerable position, and you have to know that as a driver. And when you're put in that situation, you're down on the inside. It's almost impossible to drive the car as hard as you would just being there by yourself. Now these cars and drivers are going to hit pit road.
That's enough, the crew chief said. Lap 72, the last time they pitted for tires and fuel. So Jones will lead the majority of the front group down. Parker.
See Brennan Poole pitting there. He's going to do 4 Goodyear tires. Sunoco fuel been loose on the entry and tight on the exit. Oh, just a misstep there for the tire carrier in the front. Oh, 2 tires now and fuel for Brennan Poole. 8.5 second stop. Alex?
Daniel Suarez on the track a little bit too loose. Got into the back of Hornish. He didn't mean to do so. They're going to change right side tires. Right side Goodyears for Daniel Suarez. 4 tires for Eric Jones. Here's the reason why for Jones and everybody else. They had fresher left sides. They know you can double stint them. So Eric Jones had to change all 4, had to spend more time on the pit lane. Parker.
You see Justin Allgaier here, who was involved in that incident with Sam Hornish. He said across the radio, I just lost him in the smoke as Sam locked the car down coming down the track. Justin couldn't see him. Jason Burdett, as crew chief, said, I think we can pat that down in the front and fix this. We'll worry about the tires after we get that damage fixed. There's still a bit of missing fender on the left front, so that's going to hurt him aerodynamically at this time, but the big hit for the 7 car fighting here in the chase.
As we head to break, we'll ride with Ryan Reed, missing this by the narrowest of margins as we go NASCAR nonstop. You won't miss a thing.
Let's go. I think it's time I got my turn. Gonna roam wherever I roam. They wonder how
one smart choice leads to the next.
That's just how I roll. I'm gonna go my way.
The new 2017 Ford Fusion is here. It's the beauty of a well-made choice.
It's gonna be a big wide blue sky, sunshine, happy day.
Travis, we need all natural Alberto beef jerky.
jerky. You get out what you put in.
Oh my gosh, Johnson forces the issue into turn 3. Johnson forces the
Sunoco, the essence of racing.
A gentleman never breaks the rules, but he knows how to change the game. Flex-On Eyewear, an innovation in flexible frames that remember their shape and are resistant to breaking. That's the power of Flex-On. Bend the rules.
I'm the extra crispy Colonel, and this is my little ditty. Extra crispy tender. A tender, but just a little legal tender. Made with warm sesame seed buns. Get two in a $5 real meal. What a deal! New Chicken Littles.
It's not even that little.
Yeah, I know. KFC, it's finger little good.
Is that iced tea?
Nope, it's lemonade.
Is that iced tea?
Lemonade.
Iced tea?
What's with these people, man? Lemonade. Read the sign. Lemonade. Read it.
Okay.
Delicious.
Iced tea at a lemonade stand? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much money Marin saved by switching to Geico.
It's lemonade, man.
15 minutes could save you 15.
NASCAR is on NBCSN. These drivers, the future stars, Xfinity Racing from Dover next Saturday, 2:30 Eastern on NBCSN, the second race of their chase. As we welcome you back to coverage of the Visit MyrtleBeach.com 300. Starting things off in a good way. Really good racing here tonight. And a real mixture of strategy, DJ. The top four straight out this time.
All right, Dave, get yourself grounded really good right here, because this is getting ready to be exciting. We've got drivers that haven't been over. Brendan Gaughan, he's been in the wall twice, and he's starting on the outside of the front row here. There's Blake Cook, who pitted just a few laps back earlier on that last caution, so this is going to be fun to watch.
Matt Tifft has control of the field in that orange and white 18. He gets to the restart zone. Off he goes. Brendan Gaughan in the 62 to his outside. Down to the apron, protecting goes Tifft. Here comes Blake Cook in the 11. Oh, and way out of the groove, the 39 of Sieg. He collects it. And they make it. Meanwhile, up front, green wide. Gaughan to the lead. Cook is second. Here comes Josh Berry in the 88. Josh Berry to second in the Junior Motorsports number 88. And NASCAR is now telling us Matt Tifft in that 18 got going just a little bit too early. He was not in the restart zone, and he'll have to make a pass-through penalty.
You know, when you haven't been in that position, it's so difficult to understand all that, exactly where the restart zone is. You know, it's a little bit hard to see. It's right there. Man, that was really close.
He didn't go probably 3 or 4 feet before the line. But that is the rule. He has to wait until he's within that box before he fires off. So Tifft will get the black flag. He'll have to come down pit road at pit road speed and not speed for a pass-through penalty. As Brendan Gaughan, chase contender, has moved to the front. This battle is back for 8th position. Darrell Wallace Jr. down to the inside. Ryan Blaney.
Bubba Wallace took no tires there. You see Eric Jones is back there. He took 4 tires on that because he had to get 4 tires. It was time to put tires on that car. So he was back running in the 12th spot. We'll see how patient he can be now with 63 laps to go.
NASCAR is informing Matt Tifft if he doesn't get to pit road this time, he will get the black flag with the white cross.
He's coming.
Here he goes, woes it down off of turn 4. And that flag would have meant that NASCAR would quit scoring the 18. It would be even more detrimental. This will be his pass-through penalty.
Yeah, it's unfortunate with that young man. But like you say, it's just a couple of feet. You know, it's hard to tell exactly where you are there sometimes. He was excited. He was the one restarting this race. Here comes Elliott Sadler making a pass on Blake Cook. That's for the third.
Yep. And Sadler through.
Yeah, and what allowed Sadler, he got 2 tires, I believe, on that last caution there as he came through. And a pit stop earlier where he had been working on the car, they got 4 tires. That allowed them to get those tires and get some better track position.
And Eric Jones taking those 4 tires, restarted 15th. He is back up to 9th with the pass that you just saw there. Or Pat's is.
Yes. And I just have no idea. I'm so impressed with Brendan Gaughan having this race car out front after hitting the wall twice off of turn 4 tonight.
Shane Wilson, his crew chief, told me today that ever since Brendan has been coming here to this track, and we're talking back to the Truck Series days when he was testing for Dodge, he's had a feel for it. He's loved it. And that confidence is going a long way here tonight.
Yeah, been a former winner here, so that's all it takes. You know, a lot of this, you got to have a good car, but if the driver has the right mindset about a racetrack, that can take you a long way.
Mindset of Ty Dillon is to get by Bubba Wallace, and he's going to do it there. Puts Wallace back to 11th. Jones picking up 7th by Poole. He is on a charge.
Yeah, I believe Bubba Wallace and his team will question their strategies a couple of cautions ago when they gave up a top 5 running spot to come to pit road and get tires at that point in time. And even though they got no tires last time, the car's just not capable of doing that, and they've lost some spots here.
Well, and Bubba's got to concentrate now. That's a bad position he's in right now, but he can't give it up mentally. Blaney to the inside of Cook. This is for 5th.
Yeah, and Blaney's got Eric Jones right on his bumpers. They're making their way past a lot of these cars that were in front of them.
The very damaged Joey Gase car, the 52 down to the inside. They get by him. Here's Jones to the inside of Cook. And that will dump Cook back to 7th.
And this 20 car and Eric Jones, they have plenty of speed in this race car to make all of this work. Can he be patient enough as a rookie in this series to understand all of that and not let those emotions get away from him? And here's Matt Tiff, who made his pass through, got lapped by Brendan Gaughan, trying to get back on the lead lap right now in case the caution would come out.
Of course, he's in the free pass position as well, but he'd rather just earn it and be sure.
Yeah, and it's much more beneficial if you're on the lead lap when that caution comes out, because then you don't have to start behind everybody, depending on what everyone would do. So it's so much more, and he does have the faster race car here. We'll see if Brendan's in a racing position, because it's not a car that he's racing for position right in this situation.
In the round of 12, the only driver with a victory at this track, the leader right now, Brendan Gaughan.
And how about Josh Berry running in the 2nd spot right now? What a great job he's done. Limited experience on these type of racetracks. Just doing a fantastic job in that junior motorsports car tonight.
Getting a challenge now from Daniel Suarez. Yeah, I was talking with Josh earlier, asked him about his late model wins this year for junior motorsports. And he said the last one, speaking of tonight, is the visitmyrtlebeach.com 300. He said it was last week at Myrtle Beach. He had the truck race going on at Chicagoland Speedway. Got back late, drove the hauler himself to Myrtle Beach, and he and his team got another victory for the little team in junior motorsports.
See Suarez take that 2nd spot away. Here comes Ryan Blaney on the inside of Elliott Sadler. Eric Jones in tow right behind Blaney.
Blaney will get 4th. Jones trying to get 5th. Sadler back to 6th.
Yeah, I think this is a night Elliott Sadler and his team have missed the setup just a little bit. He was telling me that this tire threw him a little bit of a curve, and they were having a difficult time with it. He couldn't get the feel of the car that he's looking for. So this is a night that this one car will just try to minimize the damage as far as points go and move on to Dover next weekend. Whoa, see Ryan Blaney really loose right there.
Josh Berry, a little bit of a wiggle too. Look at this. They get around Derek Coate in that 70 car. And charging through is Eric Jones. He's up to 4th and challenging Josh Berry now for 3rd.
You know, everyone that I talked to in the garage area today, and we saw it yesterday during the practice session and pointed it out, just how much faster this 20 car was, especially in longer runs.
Here's where a couple of the cars got loose. Point. Look at Blaney's save there.
Yeah, and you can see, you pointed out Josh Berry doing the same thing, but you're out on the outside trying to go around these lap cars. and very treacherous up there still, especially if you're trying to carry a lot of speed and go.
Jones completes the pass for third. And now looks to chase down leader Brendan Gaughan. He's 1.7 seconds behind. This is a battle for ninth.
And it doesn't even seem to be a doable situation unless there are a lot of caution laps that start happening here, that anyone could make it from lap 131 when they were on pit road last. So the very least that we would be looking at, if this goes green for the rest of this race, is everyone having to hit pit road, if for nothing more than a splash of fuel.
Daniel Suarez has caught Brendan Gaughan. He'll challenge him for the lead. Gaughan tries to shut the door just a little. For now, it is Brendan. Down the backstretch, Suarez feeling the mirror of Gaughan, but no move at this point. Whoa, Suarez with his drift.
And that's what you do if you're Brendan Gaughan. You try to keep that car back there, make him make a mistake in trying to get too aggressive to make that pass. Here comes Eric Jones for second.
That is going to cost Suarez. Through to second comes Eric Jones. Well, these cars so often, DJ, at the speeds they're racing them are on the edge. And that just showed you again right there, as you said, if you get out of the main group just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. And they have to drive them so hard because we talk about the less horsepower they have versus the Sprint Cup cars. So you really have to be in the throttle a lot. You have to drive it further into the corner, carry more speed through the center of the corner, and get back on the gas sooner if you're going to make good time around the track.
47 laps to go, and here comes Eric Jones. He's already led 74 laps tonight. He wants that lead back from Gaughan.
We were wondering just how long it might take him to work his way to the front. I actually thought it might take a little longer than this, but what a drive through the field.
Well, and Gaughan is on older tires. Remember, he pitted about 15 laps earlier than Eric Jones.
Here he goes.
Jones is by.
And again, this is what everyone, the concerns that they had. This 20 car just had so much speed. He had the speed at the beginning of a run that he could take off and run away from the field, and he could drive by them, make the passes. So just an outstanding job by Eric Jones tonight. He's been put in some difficult positions on restarts and different strategies and things, and every single time he's managed to come back to the front. Here comes Suarez for that second spot now.
Whoa, trying to make it 3 wide. B.J. McLeod down to the inside, and that 78 holds his line. Suarez gets side by side with Gaughan as they enter turn 1, and he's going to get it.
And that's the experience of Brendan Gaughan, realizing right there that's a faster car that has fresher tires right there. And so there's no need in pushing the issue now. You've lost the lead, so now just manage. Here comes Elliott Sadler by Josh Berry.
I think McLeod is going to stay down to that low line and just keep it held low. Blaney looking for a way around Berry, but you called it there. Sadler in the 1. In 4th place.
Yeah, and while we've got a moment here and talking and showing Elliott Sadler, spoke to Elliott today, and we saw him in the pre-race show, mentioned about his mom, Miss Bell, and she was in the hospital this week, had a couple of surgeries. He and Hermie have been there, the entire family through it, but she requested to go home tonight. She was feeling better, and the reason she wanted to go home is because at the hospital they didn't have NBCSN, and she wanted to watch her son race tonight. So we're wishing her the very best and thinking about that entire family.
Such a great mom and fan of her boys over these years. And great to see her find a way to watch the race tonight. So her boy in 4th place, tracking down 3rd now, as we see the 3 of Ty Dillon trying to get around Blake Cook for 9th. 44 laps remaining. And drama yet to come, I believe. Justin Allgaier back on track in that 7 car, repaired and battling for 10th.
Yeah, trying to make it inside the top 10, and that would be a great effort by this Jason Burdett-led team to make that kind of repairs to this race car, and if they can salvage something around a top 10 tonight, that would be really minimizing what could have been a very bad situation for their chase hopes.
He hasn't been the only one with issues here tonight. It's been a long evening for the Chasers, and their issues have been plenty. We talked about Brendan Gaughan getting back to the lead. Well, that was such a surprise because he had that wall contact. Ryan Sieg found the wall as well. Brandon Jones got collected in this Justin Marks spin off the bumper of Josh Berry. And Allgaier involved with Sam Hornish off the bumper of Daniel Suarez.
Been hard racing, a lot of things happening, but our chasers have battled through this. We have 10 of the 12 of them running in the top 12 spots right now. Only Ryan Blaney and Josh Berry up in 5th and 6th are there. So even though they've all had some difficulties at certain times during the race, they've all managed to push through.
And as they run, you see there on the left, Justin Allgaier is to the good. Of course, 3 races in this beginning round of 12. But you want to be on the right side of the points every opportunity you get.
Yeah, you just never know when that one spot, which is a point, could make the difference when we finish 300 miles at Charlotte in a couple of weeks.
Elliott Sadler knows his car is better than Brendan Gaughan's right now. Again, Sadler was one of those cars that pitted on lap 131, Gaughan on 118. Not quite as much grip in those tires. Good battle, though. Gaughan fighting back. There is a high line here, DJ, and we know he gravitates toward it.
Yeah, he wants, that's where he'd like to be. He's wishing there was more grip up there. You can see he's able to hold off Sadler right there. And actually the lap car is going to get in Elliott Sadler's way, and he's going to lose at least one position to Ryan Blaney.
Blaney is 4th in the 22. Little wiggle there. That gives Sadler the opportunity. Lap cars down to the inside. The wounded 33 of Brandon Jones. 74 of Mike Harmon. And Blaney's going to drive away right there.
Yeah, Elliott Sadler was really having to play a lot of defense right there, and it didn't give him the right angle of attack into turn 3. Had to really get slowed down, and that allowed the 22 to pull away.
There is so much going on at speed, and the speed differential between some of the wounded cars and even some of the slower cars that haven't had trouble. It's almost like a video game sometimes.
Yeah, it really is. And again, you're attacking so hard and not sure exactly where they're going. Those cars are running slow, but they're slower because they're not driving very well. So expecting them to be able to keep their car where they're driving it off in the corner, sometimes you have to give them a little bit more room, and that can cost you time.
That 22 car in 4th place. You ride with Ryan Blaney right now. Flew from New Hampshire to this area, was choppered in this afternoon, made his qualifying effort, qualified in the 8th position. His first laps in the car this weekend. Young Austin Cindric practiced the car and got it prepared for Blaney before he exited and let the Sprint Cup driver have the wheel.
Yeah, just a very solid run. But this is a racetrack that Ryan Blaney enjoys. That's why he's here, you know, for the sponsor and because he enjoys racing here. Has a couple of wins and just the opportunity to come back and drive this 22 car. Actually trying to help this 22 team get their first victory of the season in the Xfinity Series.
Yep, hard to believe they haven't been able to do it between the road course efforts and the efforts of Brad Keselowski and Joey Logano, Sprint Cup drivers on the ovals. But still winless for the captain so far in the Xfinity Series this year.
Able to just sneak around Brendan Gaughan there for the 3rd spot.
Jones has a 1-second lead over Suarez. 35 laps to go. The 2 fastest cars all weekend back to the point, but are we done with the cautions? And is everyone good to the end on fuel?
I don't think there's any way. I mean, we're talking 69 laps since they were on pit road. I just don't think that that's possible to do. I think they can run as long as to the point that they know they have to get on pit road. And then that's just going to be a splash of fuel. So that we're looking probably somewhere around 10 to go, maybe even inside of 10 laps to go.
The cars that have pitted latest, Justin Allgaier, wounded but running well, and Sam Hornish pitted on lap 133. Can you imagine a rash of pit stops with under 10 to go here?
Yeah, and we talked about how difficult it is to get on this pit road, so you want to make sure, too, that it's certainly not going to be the time to get a speeding penalty with all these new speeding sections or lines that we have on pit road since they raced here the last time.
Alex, what's the leader's fuel strategy?
Confirm from what DJ was just talking about. I just talked to Chris Gabehart, the crew chief, asked him about the fuel. He said, no, we're going to have to stop again about 10 laps short. So if that's what Eric Jones's strategy is in this scenario, you better expect everybody else to do the same.
Now, great get there, Alex, and now we know. Leader can't make it. This is going to get interesting down to the end.
And there's a few of those cars and chase drivers, Brendan Gaughan, Blake Cook, who were on pit road sooner than that lap 131, that are going to have to make some decisions as exactly what's going to benefit them more. And then once they hit pit road, they're going to hope that the caution doesn't come out after that. Parker?
Brendan Gaughan, who just fell back to 7th there, is probably looking at having to be on pit road about 10 laps. Should be lap 179. Remember, he pitted at lap 118, and that's as far as they can go in that 62 car.
So he'll be on pit road with 20 to go. It's been a good run for him. 18 laps led tonight, but it's that finishing spot, DJ, that they covet so much now that they're in the chase.
And as long as the race plays out to the end, then the running positions might not mix up that much.
Cycle through.
Yes, yep. Just depending on how well you get on and off of pit road. Can you possibly pick up a spot? Again, don't get that pit road speeding penalty. That could cost you a lot at the end of this race.
On board with Brennan Poole. Poole, a nice top 10 run, also in the chase for Chip Ganassi.
You know, and talking to crew chiefs down there that have looked and analyzed exactly what it's going to take to make it through this round of 12 and get into that round of 8, they were thinking, okay, 3 runs of top 12 finishes should move you on and put you into that round of 8. So that's what they're looking for. We have 10 of those drivers right now that are in the top 12, so off to a good start.
Longest green flag stretch of the race occurring right now. 29 laps to go. Leaders cannot make it to the end on fuel.
I've been watching this battle in first and second and the difference in time. Suarez has been able to close down. I think Eric Jones is catching some lap traffic at some difficult positions that's costing him a little bit of time. But Daniel Suarez is catching him. Now, something that struck me when Eric Jones in the pre-race was talking about getting out to a lead and just managing that. I think that might be some of what he's doing right now too. Not running his car too hard and wearing the tires out, but keeping enough there for the end of this race.
If a chase driver wins tonight, they assure themselves a spot in the next round, a guarantee with a win. Well, there is post-race inspection.
There is that. But with the new rules, you got to go a long way outside the lines to have that taken away.
NASCAR making some changes this week to try to deter that activity, making these cars hopefully legal throughout the event and not end up with what they would call an encumbered win. Right now, all we're seeing is great racing.
Yeah, great racing, and it was the right call at this point in time. I'm sure that they'll look at it after the season's over for everyone, for it to be better for everyone, but it was the right call at this time for all 3 series.
Jones from Byron, Michigan, trying to outrun his teammate Suarez from Monterrey, Mexico.
And this is exactly what he doesn't want to see, get himself in this position right here.
Well, they're coming up on their teammate Matt Tifft with a very fast 18 car and Ryan Sieg in the 39.
Yep. And Tifft trying to stay on that lead lap. He had that penalty for the restart violation that he incurred, had to make that pass through.
And so caution on the speedway. As they say, DJ, this changes everything.
Changes everything. Yep. And a great job by Matt Tifft there to run hard and stay on that lead lap.
It's exactly what he was trying to do, hoping for this type of caution. As a 70 of Derek Cope with issues and NASCAR for safety reasons putting out the yellow.
Yeah, you can't take any chances. When you see smoke, there's usually something creating that, obviously something creating that, and you don't know if it's oil or if it's a tire rub at that time. So do the right thing and make sure that it's safe for everyone. Looks like maybe Ryan Sieg will get the free pass and get back on the lead lap also.
That's what I was just curious about. And there he is in the position. First car not scored on the lead lap will be awarded a lap to go around, a free pass, if you will. And as someone once coined, I believe it was our friend Wally Dallenbach, that guy's a lucky dog. So the crews will get a chance to prove themselves one more time, Dale.
Okay, so I would imagine that maybe 2 tires are in the offing here. You've got to take time to put some fuel in it. You want to make sure that you get enough fuel in it for the possibility of overtime. So do you take the chance of putting 2 right side tires on it?
Fortunately for Jones, they actually put left sides on it last time he was on pit road.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, so he's in good shape there. And I would expect to see most put right sides on. I don't think we're going to see any 4 tires, except for the others that are back, and it may benefit them. We've got 17, going to have 18 cars on the lead lap once Sieg is able to make his wave around here and get back on the lead lap.
They need that track position, and it's up to the driver to place the car correctly in the pit box. DJ, what other 3 or 4 things does the driver have to do to avoid trouble?
Well, you don't want to get in your pit box too hard, slide through, and have to back up. You have to make sure that you're in there. You don't want a penalty for that. You don't want to speed on pit road right here. It'd be the worst time. And as we saw with Eric Jones on the very first pit stop, make sure you have your steering wheel in the right spot to where the pit crew can do their job with that front tire.
22 to go as they cross the stripe. Here's the smoke that NASCAR saw out of the 70 car right there.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely important to throw the caution at that point.
Yeah, and pit road hasn't been open because the 70 car was just going down slowly down pit road still, and they want to make sure they get this cleaned up before they allow them on pit road.
10 cautions tonight. It ties the record at the Kentucky Speedway. 5th time that it has happened. And we may not be done. You just never know. The way they've been restarting, 3, 4 wide.
I can't even imagine how we've made it through some of those restarts that we did make it through. Just been incredible racing.
And we appreciate you viewers hanging in with us here for a great night of racing at the Kentucky Speedway. First race of the Xfinity Chase, and it's been a dandy. So the green light at the end of the pit road has been illuminated. That means that the cars can now legally pit, and you bet they will.
Yep, and now the pressure goes on the pit crews. Do your job and do it properly. Make sure that you get all 5 lug nuts on here too.
Oh, did we mention driver better keep it to an average of 45 miles per hour between each timing line, or they'll get busted for speeding. Or 49.99. Get a little bit of grace there. On pit road, here come the leaders. Let's go to Alex.
Top of the screen, Elliott Sadler. It's been an up and down night. The car was handling awful early on. They've worked on it every time. Here he is. What's the call going to be by the race team as he slides to a stop? It's going to be Sunoco fuel only and a wedge adjustment. And Elliott Sadler's away in the middle of the screen. Daniel Suarez, they're going to change at least right side tires. Likewise with Eric Jones down at the bottom of the screen. Right side tires for him. That's it. They're both down and away.
So several drivers choosing not, or at least 2 choosing not to take tires at all, or not to change tires at all, DJ.
Yeah, very interesting choice for Elliott Sadler and Ty Dillon.
The move is to try to win the race.
That's exactly right. Get yourself in the best position to do that.
3 positions picked up for Sadler, 4 for Dillon, and they'll be the first ones off of pit road. And part of the reason you want to be coming down pit road is for fuel, so they want to make sure they got that done correctly. 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, not much.
No. We're going to have less than 20 to go here whenever we go back to green.
And there is some thought, right, between crew chiefs and drivers and engineers. Leaving the tires as they are leaves the balance, save for an adjustment where it is, versus putting 2 tires on, which could change that and maybe mess things up.
Yeah, and getting you back. Yeah, I think they probably expected more people to take that strategy and that it might work out and separate them from some of those drivers like the 22 and the 20 that are maybe a little faster cars right now, that would give them a little bit of a buffer. So we'll see how this works out for the 1 and the 3.
So the 18 car of Matt Tifft also taking just fuel on this stop. He was a subject of a little bit of a controversy on the last restart.
Okay, you can see the zone coming up here as we get ready for this restart. It's just to the driver's left there. There's the first line. And boy, that was really, really tight. But you have to go by the last line there. So you have a certain amount of time that you have to take off, or then the flagman is going to restart the race with the green flag and everybody's willing to go.
In NASCAR's judgment, Tifft went just a bit early, and he came down pit road for a pass-through penalty. So we'll keep an eye on that as they get ready to go here.
Yeah, and there's generally an official that is posted down there at that position to hear, and it's really there to make sure that the leader is the one that fires off first. So he could hear when that 18 car actually fired off, and I'm sure that that's the call that was made, that he said that it was before that restart zone.
Now firing off, putting the pedal down, getting grip, What's Sadler's challenge here on old rubber?
Well, I think his biggest challenge is Ty Dillon's been really good on the restarts when he's been up on the front row, been very aggressive in that situation. Elliott Sadler is a smart, experienced race car driver. He wants to get himself out front if he possibly can. So he's going to try to wait, and I think he'll probably choose the line based on how his car has been handling. And it looks like he's been a little bit on the loose side. So he may choose that outside lane to restart this to try to give himself and keep himself out of position of a car being on his right rear.
And what's the pedal feel on the gas pedal, DJ? Is it just a straight mash, or is it a feathering?
Yeah, you have to get to it pretty hard here because you have such a higher gear than what you would on a shorter track. So even though you do have to be careful and not spin the tires, you hope that you've cleaned them off plenty good and can get the gas down, because that's the most important part, is that initial part of the throttle that you give it. You want to get up to speed as quick as you can. Parker?
Well, DJ, Justin Allgaier there in 7th position in that 7 car. And we remember that incident he had earlier with Sam Horner. She got the front dented, and the left front there is exposed even. And as he came down to pit road for this last stop, they only did right side tires, took the track position. They had the left front fender there to put on and the bare bond to fix that left front fender, but they chose not to. They're going to take the track position and see what they can get.
I like that call. Let's let the man go do this driving, what he does best. We've seen him be aggressive on these restarts too.
He's been punched in the nose, but he shook it off, and he's coming back to fight. Your front row. Ty Dillon on the inside. Leader and restart controller, Elliott Sadler on the outside.
Yeah, for Eric Jones in the fast car that he's had and led all these laps, he's had to pass a lot of cars to get back to the front tonight. See if he can do it one more time.
Behind them at stake for Ryan Blaney, trying to get the 22 to victory lane for the first time in 16. And Josh Berry does not have a ride in this series in the 88. He's hungry. When they come to the stripe, 19 to go in the inaugural Xfinity Chase race. Dillon to the gas, Sadler to the gas. They both go. A pretty even start. Down to the inside comes Blaney. He takes a look. Still side by side, 2 by 2.
Going to open the door for Blaney to make it 3 wide down the inside.
Down the backstretch, Ryan Blaney going for the front. And here comes Eric Jones in the 20. Jones washes up. Suarez will look to the inside of the 19.
That's a spot Eric Jones hasn't been in all night. In the middle on a 3 wide situation, still battle for the lead.
Blaney shown as the leader at the start, but powering through on the outside. Elliott Sadler in the 1.
Boy, he went in there meaning to take the lead. That's as far as I've seen Elliott Sadler drive down into the corner, turn 1 here all night long.
18 and a half laps to go for new leader Elliott Sadler, actually continuing to be the leader. He was the leader on the restart, nailed it pretty well, but had to fight for it.
Yeah, big wiggle there. We got a car into the wall.
It is the 88 of Berry. Caution's going to come out again in Kentucky.
Well, and Elliott Sadler did not want to see that right there, and it happens to be a team car. I don't know if he had a tire go down. Doesn't look like anything. Well, the right rear is down, and I don't know if that came from that. Yeah.
Yeah, driver thinks so.
Yeah, I believe he just got loose up out of the corner here.
Running 4th. Looks like 3rd here. This is what happens to Berry.
Yeah, you could see the car just get loose and not able to turn, and really unfortunate. This young man had done an outstanding job all night long. I don't know if that came, if there was contact at some point. That could have easily been with that wild racing.
And we've seen that recently in both series. Contact on these difficult restarts can mean a tire going down just a number of laps later.
Yeah, and Elliott Sadler had played everything out perfectly there, had a pretty nice lead, had gotten away from the 20 car, who is probably his biggest competition here right now, and had gotten away from that. So he really hated to see that. He'll have to make a really good restart once again.
Berry was one of the cars that took just 2 tires on that last stop. Alex?
Well, the car running in the 4th spot is Ty Dillon. There you see the 3 car. They took 2 seconds of fuel on that last exchange. That's plenty to get to the advertised distance, but they were very concerned, should we have had overtime racing, that they're going to run out of Sunoco fuel. But this caution will play into their hands. They should be able to save enough should we have overtime.
He made a nice save, too, on that car. I saw that thing make a big wiggle down in turns 3 and 4 just before that caution came out.
Alex just said the O word.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see some overtime here.
With the way they're driving on these restarts, a good chance of that.
15 to go as they cross the stripe, this time under caution for the 11th time.
I was really wondering if the 3 car might have fired off first here. You can see he got a little bit of an advantage on Sadler. Sadler's able to battle back on the high side, but those cars running side by side down through 1 and 2, that just opens the door for that car in 3rd place, and that's the car that's going to start in 3rd place on this next restart is going to be Eric Jones, so that wouldn't be a good situation. But you can see Blaney take advantage of that opportunity and situation there to really battle Sadler for the lead.
NASCAR reviews every restart. They deemed that one good. And with a little extra time here, Justin Allgaier on pit road for 4 fresh tires. Seeing if he can make up a little ground here at the end.
Yeah, I guess they decided that maybe that 2-tire call that they did and not fixing the fender on the left front, that maybe that wasn't what they needed as on these restarts, because you really have to have all the aero you can possibly get, help, plus grip with the tires. And Jason Burdett making a call to come in and try to get his driver the best advantage that he can here for these last 15 laps.
Okay, Sadler still the leader, still on the old tires. Still with a job to do here. Blaney, you see the red spoiler there, but again, the 22 car not involved in the driver's chase. See what happened to Elliott last week at Chicagoland Speedway, the final race before the chase.
Yeah, he was up front battling, but he had on a little older tires. They had made a call to get their last set of sticker tires a little earlier than the rest of the field. He and Eric Jones battling for the lead here late in the race. Jones was able to finally dispose of Sadler and get the front spot and go on to win.
3rd win of the year for Eric Jones. Alex Hayden has more on Elliott Sadler.
Well, we talked a little earlier about the up-and-down evening Elliott Sadler's had, Dave, and, well, they started off the race and not very good. Even though they qualified very well in the 3rd spot earlier before the event, the car just has not been handling to his liking. They made a lot of changes on their first stop on lap 27. They went the wrong way. The next stop, they had to go back the opposite direction on their adjustments. Finally, they got the car handling the way they wanted, but when cars began stacking up under one of the cautions, they punched a hole in the nose of that blue and white Chevrolet, and they had to take another opportunity to come to pit road and put the tape across there to make sure it's as slick as it possibly is to maintain the aerodynamics. So things have been up and down, but right now for Elliott Sadler, they're on the uptick.
Alex, thank you. Take a picture of your TV screen right now if you can, because with 13 to go as they retake the green, this is how they run, but it could be way shaken up, DJ, before this is over.
Oh, I think that a lot's going to happen, and yes, those points and the way that all of that looks could be completely different. Point out once again, that 20 car seems to be sitting in the right spot with what we've seen on these restarts.
Allgaier there in the 7 will restart on the outside of row 8 after that pit stop. Let's see what progress he can make. But now for Sadler, it's up to him on the restart. Blaney to his inside, getting to the restart zone. Elliott now putting the gas down, leading him into turn 1. Whoa, contact from behind. Jones trying to push Blaney, and Dillon trying to push Sadler.
It gave Blaney a big push, but had him wiggling there for a minute. It didn't give opportunity for Jones to take advantage of that then, because he sent the 22 car out there where he couldn't get back to him. Blaney able to take the lead. Oh, here goes Jones.
Jones is around. He takes Dillon up to the wall. Caution out again, and 2 strong chase contenders have crashed.
Well, you just said it, Dave, about that picture that we were seeing with the points, how things might change.
And for Jones, another day at Kentucky gone down the tank. Glad to see that he's okay. There's the wounded car of Ty Dillon. But a lot of speed carrying it into a very flat corner, DJ.
Yeah, nobody giving anything. I mean, this is at a point in time that everybody's doing everything that they know to do. So you're on the car, you're side drafting, and anytime that you do that, you know that that's the possibility of getting that car loose and then up into you. And these drivers just getting everything they possibly could there.
Win and you advance. Every driver knows that, and when they're close, They're going to go for it. Glad to see Jones hopping out okay. Here's how it looked.
Outside.
All right, so we got the restart here. You can see the 3 really pushing the 1, but right here we saw that Eric Jones was able to get in the back of the 20, send him forward a little bit. Still battling hard and close.
2 by 2 down into turn 3, and here's where it gets interesting.
Yeah, and Eric Jones was just loose from the very beginning, getting down into that corner. Ty Dillon didn't do anything to really force that. It was just a matter that Jones got loose on the entry there. Looked like he tried to keep it out kind of wide, and the car just never took a set at that point in time. And unfortunately, Ty Dillon was there to be in the way and get taken out.
Talked about it before. These drivers have so much faith in those race cars at these speeds, and sometimes it doesn't work out.
Yeah, and you could just see as he tried to turn that car down to the bottom, get it down to that yellow line like he'd been able to do all night. There just wasn't any grip in the back for him to do that.
You saw his teammate Suarez right here. He saw what was going on. His car did stick on the bottom. Tough break for both Jones and Ty Dillon.
Yeah, the 2 cars and drivers that have led the most laps here tonight, taken out in one instant.
Jones led half the race, 100 lap total for him tonight. Ty Dillon, a quarter of it, 48 laps led for him tonight. You can see the Richard Childress Racing crew now looking over the 3 to see if they can even get it back on the track to gain a couple of laps. Every position worth a point, and that can matter to move through the next round, because tonight it's not going to be about the win for Ty Dillon. They've got to make the car safe, DJ. They've got to get clearance off those tires. Yeah. And they also, once they take it back out, they've got to make sure it'll achieve minimum speed.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure they'll be able to do that the way that the back of that car is torn up. It's just going to be difficult for him to get up to any kind of speed.
Eric Jones, again, we saw him hop out of the 20 car. So that car already being towed back to the garage area. There it is now. And as you see Jones in the 20 there on the left, again, the points as they run, you'll see him continue to go the wrong direction. Wasn't a good night to be Jones. Brandon Jones troubled in the 33. Eric Jones' night started with a tough pit road, slow stop. Had a little trouble with the right front. But again, he got the lead back, led more, lost it right here to Wallace and Dillon.
Yeah, Ty Dillon did a great job on that restart of staying on the quarter pound, got him a little bit loose, so he lost and was back there trying to make his way back forward again, was able to do that later on.
Looks like the same story for the 20, but he's able to get all the way back to the lead with a good pit stop.
Yeah, drove up through the field from 15th all the way to the lead. Then they opted to get 2 tires when a couple of other cars decided to get fuel only. Got him back in the spot, and it looked like he really was going to be starting in that 3rd spot, which had been very advantageous throughout most of the night, and that he might make a move, but the car just a little bit too loose on that restart and created this situation. So putting him almost in a must-win of one of these next 2 races, unless they go run second in both of them. That could possibly get them enough points to move on through, but certainly a different situation than what they were planning on looking at going into Dover.
7 of the 12 drivers in the Xfinity chase have had trouble this evening. Ty Dillon still on pit road. They're trying to repair that car. And it's almost like nobody's been scot-free with all the contact we've seen on the restarts. But again, 5 relatively clean. Sadler running second, Suarez third.
And we have
in 6th.
Yeah, and we have at least one more restart that we know of. Yeah. And so what's going to happen? And here we've got a driver that's going to be in control of this next restart for Ryan Blaney with this 22 team that we talked about that is used to winning, that hasn't won all year long with these drivers.
Made the trip from New Hampshire all the way out here. Try to put one in the win category for the 22. So you remember the story of Matt Tifft the restart that wasn't, because he jumped just a bit early, DJ, had to do a pass-through penalty, was a lap down, unlapped himself.
Yeah.
Guess what he is now? Fourth place.
Yeah, then held off Eric Jones, his teammate, to stay on the lead lap. And so then when that caution came out, so he was at the tail end of the lead lap. And so they decided just to get fuel, made some great moves on the restart there. All of a sudden, here he is in fourth. What a great night for this young man.
His return to Xfinity Series racing after brain surgery on July 1st. He was in the hospital already to take care of some disc issues in his back from previous year's wrecks, and the doctors found something more. They said we need to address this immediately. Matt had no idea what his future would be, but with the tumor being benign, he was able to get back into recovery mode immediately. And the best thing about his story, GJ, we showed, he is helping other young people not be afraid of going through a similar situation with his positive attitude following.
Yeah, just a tremendous story. And I think his attitude is the whole thing, the way that he handled and went about everything. I mean, how devastating would it be to most of us, especially you think about at his age, what that's like to be told you have to have brain surgery. You know, you just gotten a great opportunity. Now that's secondary totally. And for him to be able to battle through all that in such a positive way, what a great inspiration that is for so many. For so many of us that complain about little things along the way in our day, maybe. And here he is with an opportunity to run up front and do what he loves to do once again.
And someday, hopefully, run for the Xfinity Series Championship. Not this year for Matt. There are others involved, like the 62 and the 6 of Brendan Gaughan and Bubba Wallace. Nice recoveries for them.
Yeah.
7th and 8th for those drivers right now.
Yeah, and Ryan Reed there has got a top 10 going. Justin Allgaier, who was in a crash with Sam Hornish, who, by the way, is up in 5th after he was hit by the 19 car and spun and then hit by the 7 car. So a lot of things happening here. A lot going on through this night.
A most unpredictable evening in Sparta, Kentucky. And, oh, by the way, the pits are open now. Will anybody come down and take a last chance at putting some fresh rubber on their car?
Yeah, I can't see anybody, especially inside that top 10 or 12, making that move to pit road.
There's a whole lot of speedy drive being laid down.
Yeah.
Ty Dillon drove his car in and down to his pit, which is almost at pit out, and the trail led to his pit.
As if that corner hasn't been enough of a difficulty in itself, now it's going to have speedy dry all over it again.
Again, they're trying to get that car repaired just enough to maybe gain a couple, to get back on the track for a couple of laps, finish ahead of a couple of other competitors, and have those points. Parker?
Well, Dave, I was just listening to Nick Harrison on the radio here, and he basically said if there's any way that we can get this car rolling, if we can make it move, we have to, obviously looking at the point situation. And this team rolling in here had a lot of confidence. I talked to Nick Harrison before the race, and he said, you know, we really are planning on just going out there, and if we have solid runs like we've been having all year, we're going to points our way through this first round. But obviously, this is not what they wanted to see tonight, and they're going to continue going to work here, pushing really hard on the left rear. They're trying to figure out the left rear suspension at this time and making it clear so the tire can roll, but they're not having any luck at this time.
So NASCAR, in the interest of saving the green flag racing till the end, with cleanup remaining, they're going to put the cars on the backstretch in a stopped position. A red flag is going to come out, and work on the 3 car, and any other car being repaired will have to come to a halt. But they've got some more cleanup to do here, and they want to give the race fans as much green flag racing as they can.
Yeah, so the 3 car and team are working as hard as they can to get back out, because we know that every position is a point. So here's a teammate of theirs, the 33 of Brandon Jones, involved in an incident not of his making earlier on. We saw him in the garage area making all the repairs necessary to get back out and be able to run at a minimum speed, at the very best that they could do. So they were about 34th on the grid whenever that happened. They've gone back out and are now running in 28 spots. So that's 6 points that they've picked up. Could that be enough if they can have 2 good races that would move them into that round of 8? So just the hard work and efforts of these crews each week.
Alex is caught up with Eric Jones.
Yeah, just out of the infield care center. Eric, what happened?
I just got sucked around. I tried. I was slammed on the brakes trying to slow down, but Ty had been holding me really tight there on the restart, slamming doors in 1 and 2, and he was on me pretty tight down there. It's my fault, but, you know, it's tough when you're in that situation. That's a pretty tough aero situation into 3, so just couldn't hang on to it. You know, I tried to slow down, like I said, and give some room on entry, but he just kept slamming down on my door, and did all I could to hang on to it. But the GameStop Overwatch camera was good, and we definitely had a winning car, but we just made a mistake and ended our night.
Record number of cautions in tonight's race. With that many restarts, were you surprised by the aggression on every one of them?
Yeah, I was pretty unimpressed by the aggression on it. You know, there was points where we were 4 wide down the front stretch for no reason. There's a lot of guys racing over their heads. I guess I could say I was racing over my head at one point there on that restart. So a lot of aggression for sure. And, you know, unfortunately, it just didn't work out in our favor.
Your thoughts now where the chase is and being out of this race early and your strategy now moving forward?
Well, it definitely looks like we're going to have to run really well at Dover and Charlotte, if not get a win. So being our knocked out there is not a good situation for us. I thought we could probably get a win tonight and get locked in, but we'll have to do pretty good here at the next 2 to be locked in.
Erik Jones, very disappointed in himself, but taking full responsibility on this one, guys.
Sounds like the chase to me, DJ.
Hey, you know, we showed what took place in the very first chase in the Sprint Cup and series back in 2015 with all the drivers and everything, or 14 when everything was taking place with them. Yeah, I didn't see the 3-car be that close and much, you know, as an effect here. And I know that you don't have to be right on the door to be affecting that, but you can see that looked like he gave him room. But, you know, it's a different story when you're sitting in the race car going 180 miles an hour, and it obviously the air can affect you without the cars ever touching. And, you know, that was just, it looked like it was more that his car needed a little bit more air on that right side of the car. So, you know, that's what this chase is about. It ramps up, it makes drivers mad at each other, and that's what's going to happen as we go through these next 6 weeks.
Never before have the competitors in the Xfinity Series had this type of tension between themselves, and 12 of them are trying to make their way through to round 2, the round of 8. Dover next week and Charlotte to finish them up. That'll be the transfer race.
Well, the good thing for Erik Jones and his team is they can only, you know, they can just look back to the last race at Dover where he was came out the winner. So he knows that he can compete there. And even though there are going to be some other Cup drivers in the series there, he's proven on a regular basis that he can outrun pretty much anybody that wants to come along.
So the 3-team can't work on the 3-car under the red flag. They were allowed to move it back to the garage area, though. And that's a stubby little Chevrolet right now. Not the type of condition that Ty was hoping to see that car in at the end of the race. So under the red here at Kentucky, we'll let the cleanup continue, and we'll get back to a green flag finish here in the first race of the Xfinity Chase. The chase is on NBCSN, and we cast an eye toward the Sprint Cup Series at New Hampshire. One of 2 races remaining to make it to their round of 12. Chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues from New Hampshire tomorrow, 1:30 Eastern on NBCSN. The yellow is redeployed here. You're watching coverage of the VisitMyrtleBeach.com 300. And those fans are like, yeah, we can get back to green and see who's going to win this. Ryan Blaney with the lead right now. Elliott Sadler, Daniel Suarez, and Matt Tifft, the top 4. So NASCAR telling us now that the 3 will not be allowed back onto the racetrack at all because they were working on the car under the red flag. I wonder if moving it constituted working on it.
I don't know about moving it, but I don't even think you're allowed to jack the car up and put it on the jack stands like they were doing. I was wondering about that, but apparently there might have been even more going on before the cars were turned back loose.
So apparently that's it for Ty Dillon for the night.
I'm not even sure they were going to be able to get that car fixable enough for him to go out and make speed.
So track cleanup is complete. And Elliott Sadler with a job to do, Parker.
Yeah, and I'm with his crew chief, Kevin Menring. As the cars get rolling here, you guys have made a ton of adjustments to that #1 car throughout the night. What has it been working, and do you think you have a shot at it here?
Yeah, all the guys on the 1-main Chevy have done a great job all night. We didn't start out the best. We've worked on it hard. We finally got some track position here, and Elliott's done a great job, and we're going to give him a run for it.
Do you think with this, we're being on the top, most of those restarts that worked for you, now most likely looking where Ryan Blaney goes, if he chooses the top, do you guys think you have enough to fight on the bottom?
Yeah, these restarts are tough. Once you, if you can make it through turns 1 and 2 unscathed, you can end up all right. But it as long as we don't kill our momentum off the 2, we'll be okay here.
Kevin Meendering, this #1 team, Elliott Sadler, hoping to keep that momentum on the restart here, Dave.
Parker, he will be second to Blaney, as you guys discussed which line. And here is the 3 team getting the word that they won't be competing anymore. Window net coming down, driver being told, you're done. I haven't seen that before, DJ.
No, I really haven't either. I mean, it's pretty much understood that when until you're told that you can't touch the car under red flag conditions.
And NASCAR tells us that they were working on pit road under the red and also in the garage area, or the activity that was happening was deemed as working on the race car, and therefore they're throwing the book at him, and Ty just shakes his head. This has been an unfortunate night after a pretty strong race.
Yeah, had really done a really good job all night. Battled hard, led a lot of this race, and unfortunately they're going to find themselves on an uphill battle now for the next 2 weeks at Dover and Charlotte.
So Ty Dillon getting unbuckled from the 3 car. He will call it a night. Meanwhile, the rest of the competitors, 20 of whom are on the lead lap, are getting ready to come back to the green. Just exiting turn 2 now, behind the pace truck. And this is interesting. So much at stake. Sadler on the blue car on the inside. A chase berth, a berth into the round of 8 at stake. To his outside, Blaney, not the same thing, wants to win for the 22 team for the first time this year. Behind them, the orange and white 18 of young Matt Tifft. Just his 8th start in the series in a strong Joe Gibbs Racing car. And to his inside, the driver from Monterrey, Mexico. No foreign-born driver has ever won a NASCAR National Championship. Daniel Suarez in the 19 wants to be the first.
Yeah, Suarez is in that 3rd spot that we've seen. One that could make a move and make things interesting off of turn 2 and down the back straightaway, but they're going to have a lot to deal with off of turn 4 too.
Here they come to the restart zone. Blaney in the white 22 is the control car. He hits the gas and we're back under green. 4 laps to go at Kentucky.
Boy, Sadler got a huge push from Daniel Suarez there. He's going to get him out in the lead.
Out in clean air goes Elliott Sadler. Suarez chasing. And Blaney not giving up. 3 wide now. Sam Hornish down to the inside.
Everything Elliott Sadler wants to see in his mirror, but he's just looking forward, hoping that this can go green for these next 4 laps.
Hoping the caution doesn't come out. The dust flying from the speedy dry. They're 3 wide again at the start-finish line by 2 rows. 2 to go for Elliott Sadler. Next time by, 2 to go for Sadler. Out in front now by 0.3 of a second.
Bubba Wallace there trying to make a charge back. He's inside the top 10, trying to get every spot that he can.
And look at Hornish motoring in that 2 car. He's trying to catch Elliott.
Just a couple of hundred seconds of difference in the first 2 speed there. Elliott Sadler watches up a little bit off of turn 2 though.
Down the backstretch, Sadler leading this group of 3, battling for second. Blaney now trying to find a way around Suarez. 2 chase drivers, 2 non-chase drivers.
Here comes Suarez trying to get second.
Daniel through to second. And for Elliott Sadler, 1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank. The gap is almost half a second, but you can see it there. Suarez not giving up.
Going to take a huge run into turn 3.
Lots of space for Elliott Sadler down to the yellow line. Coming off as clean as it can off of turn 4. And Elliott Sadler will win and advance to the round of 8 at Kentucky.
Awesome job, man. Awesome job. Great team effort. Proud of all you guys.
Sadler was not the leader at the restart. He found a way to get the point and held it.
The way he found to get the lead was a huge, huge push by Daniel Suarez.
Look at the excitement behind the wheel.
What a great win for Elliott Sadler.
I know y'all got a long day tomorrow, but thank you guys for coming tonight, man. Ha-ha! That's what it's all about, boys.
Yeah, I mean, and that was in Suarez's best interest, too, because he was trying to get, by the first row.
Yeah, that he had to get Elliott out front so he could get in that position to get by and try to race Elliott Sadler one-on-one there was exactly what he was looking for to dispose of the 22 car. So he did everything he was supposed to do. He just, in Suarez's case, he got bottled up back there and wasn't able to get cleared in time.
Sadler gapped the group and went on to the victory. I believe we're going to see a little motion out of the driver of the one car.
Yeah, in a lot of different ways. We heard and talked about his mom being in the hospital all week long, requested to go home so she could see NBCSN at home and watch her son race and now win.
Done his little celebration. He's going to step out at the start-finish line and receive a checkered flag, and well-deserved tonight for Elliott Sadler. Remember, Elliott was the points leader at the resetting of the points, and I think, how many points was it?
Yeah, he had a pretty big lead there, and so, yeah, it was the one year that he wished that maybe this chase format didn't start. But now I think he's probably a fan of it.
I think so, too.
I think he's really been a fan of it, too. He was making a lot of jokes about being the points leader, but he understands that this is what this series needs, how important it is for the teams, for NASCAR, and for the fans to see something this exciting. And you can see just how much it means to a driver that's been through a lot in his career.
The 41-year-old from Emporia, Virginia, now the winner of the first ever chase race for the Xfinity Series.
You know, driving a car and racing is all that Elliott Sadler's ever wanted to do. He was a great athlete in high school, went to college, but driving a race car was what he wanted to do. And he's been outstanding at it. He's had his ups and downs through his career, but he's persevered through all of that. And again, comes from a great family, and it's just good to see that good things happen to good people like this. But this was a race team, and talking to Kevin Menner yesterday about their preparation and talking to Elliott in coming into this chase. They had their cars lined up. They were very ready for all of this. Now, does this win change some ways that they look at it and go about this? Probably does. They're looking at the round of 8 more now as far as what they have to do, but certainly a great start for this organization. And for Dale Earnhardt Jr., another victory for him going through a difficult time in his life and professional career. So a lot of good things happening for this organization.
Moments ago, Alex Hayden caught up with Ty Dillon.
Ty Dillon behind the wall in the garage. Ty, simply put, what happened out there, and how disappointed are you now given the chase is in play?
First of all, we had a good West Coast Chevy tonight. Had a lot of fun leading laps, running up front with those guys, and had a pretty good restart there, and had a good run on the outside of 20. And I heard him get loose, and he had to lift, and there's nowhere I can go. Just sucks to start off the chase like that. We're in a hole, but we had speed tonight, so we can win races. It just hurts, man. And then you see the one win, and so that we're better than him all night. So tough one to swallow, but it's so fast around here, and it's one groove, and things like that are going to happen, especially when everybody's trying to get locked in that chase. There was 3 cars that felt like had a chance to win us, the 19 and the 20, and we kind of fought. I had some bad restarts at the end and just took us out of it, and I thought we were going to make some good momentum on that last one and got taken out a little bit. So just part of tough racing there, and he got loose, and there's nothing I can go. Yeah, also I want to thank, tonight we were kind of racing with heavy hearts. Johnny Seiler, the heartbeat of our company, passed away, and we're thinking about him. It's just long night and not the day that anybody wanted.
Ty Dillon dejected, but having to go on to Dover next week.
So Ty will be last in the 12, leaving Kentucky. This man will be first. We'll talk to him when we come back. The visit MyrtleBeach.com 300 is over. Elliott Sadler is in victory lane, and Parker is there.
Elliott climbs out of the car. Elation here for this one team right now, celebrating. They've locked themselves in the round of 8 with this win at Kentucky. Elliott, You had a lot of adjustments made on this car. There's a bit of damage repaired on the front end. Seems like you guys fought through tons of adversity and a great restart at the end to take the lead and win it. How did it go for you?
Well, we fought through a lot tonight, and I'm going to get a little emotional on you now. I've been in the hospital all week with my mom in ICU, watching her fight through a lot of pain and suffering, and made her way back home tonight to watch the race. Mom, I love you, and she leads so much by example, but these guys are my heroes, guys. We had a 10th or 15th place car at best, and we decided to come in and really take our time and work on it. Great pit calls at the end by Kevin and the guys, get us in position, and got a good push there at the end. But I do want to say thanks to Josh Berry. Helped me a ton tonight. They did, kids, some cool things on the restarts. This one main financial team, man, there's no quit in them. We just fight to the end. This is a great way to start the chase.
And talk about winning this first race and locking yourself for the round 8, what it does momentum-wise for this race team as you go and fight for a championship.
At halfway, we were running 20th. And by my calculation, we were probably 10th or 11th in points. So to fight back those last 100 laps to gain that kind of momentum, Parker, means a lot for us and these guys. I'm so proud of these guys, Dale and Kelly, all of our partners with Hunt Brothers and Chevrolet, and everybody does so much for us at Junior Motorsports. This is a great way to start off the chase, keep some momentum on our side. We can relax and go to Dover and have fun there in Charlotte and get ready for the second round.
An emotional victory for Elliott Sadler down here at Kentucky Speedway.
And we know where Elliott stands. He is alone among the winners in round 1, the round of 12. Here's how they look beyond that. Suarez with a good run. And the Roush Fenway guys, Reed and Wallace, 4th and 5th now.
Yeah, very impressive by those guys. Justin Allgaier coming back from an incident of tearing up the car a little bit and getting a good finish there. And Brennan Poole. And how about Blake Cook coming home in 11th spot's got him 8th on the grid right now.
And not avoiding Brendan Gaughan, 3rd in the championship, and looking good there. That's how the grid looks. Sadler alone out in front.
Well, a huge win for that race team, and he documented where their struggles throughout the night, but get themselves and put themselves in that position again. He used his experience to take over and have a great restart there with the help of Daniel Suarez,
whom Alex caught up with moments ago.
Daniel Suarez, a solid second-place run tonight. Fast race car. Not necessarily the win you really came here to get, but a solid start to the chase nevertheless. Your thoughts on tonight's race?
Well, I think it was a decent race. We had a good speed, pretty much in the top 5 all night long. We missed a little bit in the middle of the race, and then we came back, and right there at the end we were pretty good. A little bit too tight, but good, strong. I feel like we were the fastest car out there. I just needed maybe 1 lap or 2 laps more to get the win.
Daniel Suarez, second place run and a good start to his chase.
Absolutely agree, Alex. Suarez second tonight. But Sadler in victory lane, GJ. And it's the second time in recent weeks, and I count Darlington as the other, when we've seen this guy with a little bit of salt and pepper in his hair fight hard for this championship.
Yeah, and great emotion from each end of the spectrum. Elliott Sadler and his team in victory lane there. We saw Ty Dillon and the dejection for he and his team, and also with Eric Jones there. So, but a lot of battling. That's what this chase format does, and it's not going to get any easier as they go to a difficult 1-mile concrete surface at Dover next weekend.
Yeah, that is a car-eating track they're going to next week.
Yeah, and it's hard to stay out of trouble there, too, because so many things happen in front of you and around you, and you get caught up in it. So it'll be another nervous weekend for a number of these drivers.
The mascot is a monster for a reason. Well, tonight, Elliott Sadler tames Kentucky Speedway, and behind him, the chase very, very tight. We're so glad you can join us here tonight on NBCSN for the first race of the Xfinity Series chase. Join us tomorrow from New Hampshire for the Sprint Cup Series chase. That'll be a good one, too. We'll see you next time here on NBCSN. Your winner tonight, Elliott Sadler.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.